So, good morning, everyone. Please, can anybody confirm that I'm audible and the screen is visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Abhijit. Uh, okay, so I think the screen is visible and I'm audible too. Uh, so, before starting this particular session, as you all know, this is a QRB, which is quick revision batch, right? So as we are live on YouTube also, so I wanted to tell the students who are watching on YouTube that in this quick revision batch, we are giving you one demo lecture. So this is basically one demo lecture that is provided to you on YouTube for the demo purpose. Rest lecture will be on the course. Okay, it will be in the course, not provided on the YouTube. Coming to the QRB, so what is this QRB session and why this has been launched? Again, right now, if you're not confident regarding your preparation for NABARD, or you want a very quick revision batch, or you want to, study few component like ARD or current affair in general. So at this point in time, how can you effectively utilize your remaining time? For that, we have launched this QRB batch. And from today onward, the classes are starting. The classes are starting from ARD. Okay, so today I'm going to cover four chapters of ARD, four chapters of ARD. Okay, and simultaneously, 4 days has been allotted to ARD. So within 4 days, we will try to complete the entire ARD component. Okay, so let's start with the lecture number 1 of QRB for ARD. Okay, so I hope you all are excited for this particular batch. Please understand that as this is a quick revision batch, classes are lengthy and we have a very short span to cover these entire chapters. So I'll try to explain everything in detail, but I'll keep my focus more on the part which is important for your examination. Okay. So nothing will be left. Don't worry. Everything will be covered. But yeah, I'll explain things in detail only where I feel that these are important for your examination. Also, I'll be mentioning in between the session what all you have to focus on and what all you can skip, right? Okay, with that, I'll start my session and I hope everybody has joined. Chalo, we'll start. So first chapter that we have is Introduction to Agriculture, right? Now, students, how to approach this chapter. So first of all, this chapter contains just facts, okay? It's just only has facts, like facts regarding revolution, facts regarding the important dates, facts regarding the institutes that we have for the agriculture. So for this particular chapter, what you need to do, I'm going to tell you what you need to learn and what you need to skip. Okay? So we'll start. Okay, during the chapter, I'm going to tell you कि क्या आपको पढ़ना है, क्या आपको रहने देना है for this particular point in time, क्योंकि काफी सारे facts है, सब याद करने possible नहीं है. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत basic सा chapter है. Let's start with this. इसमें first of all we'll understand कि what is agriculture. ठीक है, agriculture in general है क्या, हम क्या पढ़ रहे हैं, ARD पढ़ रहे हैं. ARD क्या है, agriculture and rural development, right? It is a agriculture and rural development. So first we need to understand what is this agriculture. So agriculture is what? Agriculture, basically this word agriculture has been derived from a Latin word ager, which means land or soil. Culture means cultivation. So whenever we are cultivating our land, we are cultivating soil for any purpose, that is a part of that activity is agriculture basically. Okay, that thing is known as agriculture. Okay, so you need to learn here. आपको ये याद रखना है कि agriculture term is derived from Latin word ager, which means land and soil. Culture means cultivation. So this can be one of question. This can be one of the question that can be asked to you in your examination. ठीक है, बहुत ही easy है. Just remember it is a Latin word derived. It is a Latin. Agriculture is derived from a Latin word. Ager means land. Clear? Chalo. With this, let's move ahead. Now, students, usually our notion regarding agriculture is that agriculture is all about crop production, because what we have seen कि in agriculture, what farmer do, they just produce the crop. But it's not just limited to crop production, okay? Because farmers also deals with other activities like livestock rearing, okay? They also sometimes forests are managed, sometimes fisheries is done. So all these are also part of agriculture. So agriculture had different sector, like crop production is one of them, animal husbandry is another, forestry is also part of agriculture, and your fisheries is also part of agriculture. ठीक है? तो agriculture के regarding कभी भी ये नहीं सोचना है कि it is limited. See, agriculture do have allied sectors, okay? Allied, that's why we said agriculture and allied subjects, right? तो agriculture पे जो dependent है या agriculture से जो related है, they all come under agriculture sector. ठीक है? So I hope it is clear कि agriculture में सिर्फ crop production नहीं होता है. It also consists of animal husbandry, forestry and fisheries, right? Now, what is the literal definition of agriculture? Coming to कि agriculture की जो actual definition है वो क्या है, right? So students, agriculture is considered as science, art and business of growing crop and rearing livestock. Okay, so this is just a basic, simple definition of agriculture. Agriculture is what? It is science, art, and business of growing crop and rearing livestock, right? So, why it is done? For some economic benefit, right? For some return purpose. So, how your agriculture is science? First, let us understand. Now, students, see, in agriculture, what we are doing? We are growing crops. We are rearing animals. We are, culturing fishes. We are managing forest. Now, in order to manage these things, in order to grow crop, in order to maximize the yield, what we need to have? We need to have the understanding of science behind growing crop. Like, what is the science? How this crop is interacting with the environment, how this crop is interacting with the soil, how this crop is taking nutrient from the soil. Again, we need to know the science behind all these things so that we can better manage the crop and we can get maximum yield. Because ultimately, देखो, why farmers are doing this activity, ultimate ultimate aim is to get the return, right? Ultimate aim is to get the return. Now, to get maximum return, we need to manage these activities in such a way that we are getting maximum output, so that that output can be sold in the market and we can get maximum return, right? So for that, first we need to understand science. ठीक है? साइंस पता होनी चाहिए कि क्या साइंस है crop growth की. See, if we know that this particular plant need this particular nutrient, then what we'll do? We will give that plant that nutrient so that that plant can grow well and can give us good yield, right? So it is science. It is also a art. Now, students, anyone cannot manage a field. Anyone cannot manage a agriculture field. You need to have some skills. You need to have some skills and understanding of how to manage these crops. You might have seen some activities, like I often give the example of grafting. Grafting क्या होती है? Grafting is basically where we join two स्टेम. ठीक है? दो स्टेम ली जाती है और उनको ज्वाइन किया जाता है. दे आर टाइड टुगेदर एंड नाउ दिस मेक्स वन कंप्लीट न्यू प्लांट. ठीक है? तो अगर कोई भी नॉर्मल पर्सन ग्राफ्टिंग करे, लाइक अगर हम ये सोचे ओ इट इज वेरी इजी, हमने यूट्यूब में देख लिया ग्राफ्टिंग ये होती है, इस तरीके से की जाती है, लेट्स डू इट, है ना? और अगर हम ग्राफ्टिंग करने चले तो इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपने जो किया है वो सक्सेसफुल हो, वो ग्राफ्ट सक्सेसफुल हो, राइट? आप ट्राई करके भी देखना कि जरूरी नहीं है कि आपने जो ग्राफ्ट बनाया है वो सक्सेसफुल हो, राइट? बट अगर वही चीज आप किसी स्किल्ड लेबर को दे दोगे, राइट, जो ऑलरेडी ये ग्राफ्टिंग में काम कर रहे हैं या जो काफी टाइम से इस ग्राफ्टिंग एक्टिविटीज को कर रहे हैं, उनके सारे ग्राफ्ट विल बी सक्सेसफुल, राइट? All the graft that they have made will be successful. क्यों? Because they have that skill, right? तो एग्रीकल्चर में क्या है? हमें स्किल की भी रिक्वायरमेंट होती है. Only the skillful labor can do a particular work in agriculture, right? So students, that's why agriculture is considered as art of growing crop and rearing livestock, right? Then coming to business, why business again? Again, our ultimate aim is to get economic return. Okay, why everything is done? Just to get some kind of economic returns, right? So I hope it's clear. how agriculture is science, art, and business of growing crop and rearing livestock. Clear? Okay. Okay, so I'll from now on I'll explain in English only. Okay. In between, if I speak in Hindi, so don't worry, I'll repeat it. Okay, I'll repeat it. I hope it's clear, right? Now, students, coming to the branches of agriculture. Now, we have seen in agriculture, there are so many activities, right? There are activities of growing crops, there are activities of creating, managing forest, rearing livestock, right? So, in order to make a study of agriculture easy, the agriculture sector or agriculture in general has been divided into different branches, okay? You cannot study agriculture at once. You might have seen in your syllabus also that fisheries is a different chapter, animal husbandry is a different chapter, right? Farm engineering is a different chapter. Okay, why this is done? Because at once you cannot read about everything in agriculture, right? So hence a division has been made, and it has been divided into seven major group. Okay, I'll consider it as a six major group, but yes, you can say as a allied agriculture group of agriculture is home science. Okay. So what are these seven branches? First we have is agronomy. So agronomy is basically, students, agronomy is that branch of agriculture which is dealing with field crop and their management. Okay, so what is this agronomy? What are different types of field crops, classification of field crops, at their management? We will be dealing with this particular aspect in your chapter number 2. Okay, chapter 2 is all about agronomy and field crop. Clear? But right now, just have the understanding that when we are managing field crop, okay, when we are managing field crop, that comes under branch of agriculture, which is agronomy. Now, what is this field crop, right? What is this field crop? Students, you might have seen that we have crops like rice, wheat, maize, barley, pulses, grams, right? Groundnut, soybean, cotton. So these kind of crop comes under field crop, right? Now next we have another kind of crops where we have fruits, vegetable, flowers, and you can see that this fruit, vegetable, flowers cannot be kept for so long, right? They are very perishable in nature. They need to be taken care very differently in order to increase their shelf life, right? So hence a categorization has been made कि field crops and their management is studied under agronomy, and fruit crops, vegetable crops, flowers, ornamental plants, right? All these are kept in a different branch, which is horticulture. So in horticulture we study about fruits, flower, vegetable, ornamental plants, etc. Clear? So this is the difference between agronomy and horticulture, right? So we will be understanding these in detail. So horticulture part we will be understanding in the chapter plantation and horticulture crop. Okay. So there we'll discuss all the crops of horticulture and what all practices comes under horticulture. Clear? Next, we have another branch which is forestry. Now, students, forestry, as the name suggests, it is basically the management of forest crop. Now, forest crops are also very important because forests provide us timber, it provides us fuel, fodder, right? So, forests are also equally important for us. So, that's why a different branch has been made, which is forestry. That comes under again agriculture. Clear? Now, students, here all these three branches comes under crop production group. Why crop production group? Because here some kind of crops are harvested. Okay, either the field crop, either the horticulture crop, either the forest crops are harvested. We are getting some kind of crops, right? So a broad group is made, which is crop production group, under which agronomy, horticulture, and forestry is kept, right? Then we have another group which is known as animal management group. Now here what we are doing, we are managing animals, right? As the name suggests, animal management. So some kind of animal or organism is being managed here, right? So here we have two branches, sorry, animal husbandry and fisheries science. What is this animal husbandry? Basically here we are dealing with rearing, breeding of animals, okay, of livestock, which include your cattle, cow, buffalo, sheep, and goat. Clear? In animal husbandry, poultry is also part of animal husbandry, where we are rearing the birds, right? So that is animal husbandry. Again, this is again whole new next another chapter where we are dealing in detail about these animals, right? Similarly, forestry is another chapter where we will be dealing with the forest crops and discussing about the forest crop, right? Then fisheries science. What is fishery science? Here we are, you know, here we are concerned with the fish production, right? So again, it will be another chapter which we are discussing. Okay? So this comes under animal management group. Next we have is agriculture engineering and home science. Now students, I have told you na, that in agriculture we have to manage crops. Okay, so how do you manage crops? How do you prepare field for sowing of crops, right? How do you harvest this crop? How do you remove the grain from the stubbles? So you need some kind of tools, you need some kind of machines, you need some kind of implements for that, right? And for that, we have another branch which is known as agriculture engineering, wherein we are reading, or where we are learning about the tools and implements that are required to effectively manage these other branches of agriculture. Clear? So this is agriculture engineering. Again, another new chapter, another whole chapter is for dedicated for this, which is farm and agriculture engineering, right? Then we have next, which is home science. So students, home science is not a direct branch of agriculture, we can say, but yes, some part of home science, which include the nutrient analysis of our food crop. The whatever food crop we are growing, what is the nutrient status in that? Okay, how can we increase the nutrient quality of this food crop, as well as how can this lead to the ultimate food security of a country, removing the malnutrition and etc. That comes under the food science, home science, sorry. Okay, so it's not a direct branch of agriculture science, but yeah, some part can be studied where we deal about the produce that we have grown in agriculture and what is their nutritional quality. Clear? So these all are the branches of agriculture here. Now, students, in your examination, direct question has been asked regarding the branches of agriculture. So you need to know all these branches, especially agronomy, horticulture, forestry, animal husbandry, fisheries, and agriculture engineering. Okay? So now I have marked it star here. So it is important. You need to learn it. Clear? Moving to the next, which is branches of horticulture. Now, students, again, horticulture is very big branch in itself. Okay? Horticulture is a very huge subject, or we can say a huge sector in itself, right? So because in horticulture, you will find that we are not just concerned about any kind of crop like fruit or vegetable or flowers, but other activities also comes under horticulture, like beautification of land. You might have seen that there are gardens developed, right? Some gardens have Mughal touch in it, some have Italian touch in it, some have Japanese touch in it. So that is also a complete study. It's not like someone is, someone feels like, okay, let's start making a garden here, okay, and then they are making it as per their will. But there is a whole complete study of developing land, of beautification of land. That also comes under horticulture, right? So let's understand what are the different branches of horticulture, what all things we study under horticulture. So first we have is floriculture. Okay, so students, floriculture, you can here understand. Flori means flower. Okay, flori means flower. So when we are concerned with, or when we are managing flowers, growing flowers, okay, taking care of flowers, and we are making sure that these flowers do not, we can increase the shelf life of flowers by doing some practices. So that is known as floriculture. Flori means flower. So branch of horticulture where we are growing flowers and managing flowers is floriculture. Clear? Simple as that. Next we have is arboriculture. Now students, what is arboriculture? So here in horticulture, we are not just concerned about entire crops. Okay, sometimes one plant or one tree or one shrub or one herb can also need special management uh, special management or some kind of special attention, right? You might also have seen sometimes that only one palm tree is growing for the beautification of any land, right? Now you don't have a crop of palm tree over that piece of land. You have just one palm tree. Now it's not like that you will not manage it. You will manage that one palm tree, like, right? So that is known as arboriculture. Arboriculture means when we are managing only one tree or one plant at a time. ठीक है. So that is arboriculture. Clear? So I hope arboriculture is clear. अगर कोई confusion है, if you have any confusion, any doubt, do let me know. Do let me know. Okay. Next we have is landscape horticulture. I have told you in horticulture, we are not just concerned about horticulture crops, but also sometimes we read about beautification of land. Okay. We also read about how to develop a garden. Okay. What are the different styles of garden and everything, right? And that all comes under landscape horticulture, right? So students, you can see that beautification of land is part of agriculture, and it is branch of horticulture. Clear? I hope it is clear to you what is landscape horticulture. Next we have is olericulture. So students, olericulture is for vegetable. Okay, vegetable, where we read about vegetables, where we manage vegetables, where we understand how to grow these vegetable effectively. Clear? Then we have pomology. Pomology is for fruits. Pomology is for fruits. It is the study of fruits and their management. Clear? Then we have viticulture. Viticulture is basically for grapes. So students, see, grapes have been kept under different branch of horticulture, which is viticulture, because grapes, they grow in vines and they require different cultivation practices. They require different management practices as compared to the other fruit crops. Okay. Also, grapes are, considered significant as, some kind of beverages is made from these grapes. So as they need different cultivation practices, different, management practices, so they have been kept under different branch, which is viticulture. Rest other fruits are kept under pomology. Clear? Okay, then we have enology. Enology is what? It is the science of making wine from grapes. Okay, that is enology. Okay, from grapes, wines are made, right? So, science of wine and wine making is enology. That study is done under enology branch of horticulture. Now, students, another very important, it's very, very important branch of horticulture, which is post-harvest management. What is post-harvest management? Now, all the crops that we have read so far, fruits, fruits, vegetable, flowers, right? Everything, they need to be managed after harvest, because what happens just after harvest, these crops start decaying. Okay, and they cannot be kept for longer duration of time. Their shelf life is very, very, very small, right? So what we need to do, we need to manage these crop in such a way after the harvest, so that they can be kept for some good amount, or some some like for few months or for few years, at least they can be preserved, right? So for that, we have another whole branch, which is known as post-harvest management, where we study about what should be the management practices that should be applied to any crop after its harvest, so that that crop can be stored for longer duration of time. Clear? So that is studied under post-harvest management. Now, students, from this topic, post-harvest management, one descriptive answer writing was asked you in 2024. So this is very important. Okay, just you can go through about you can go through what is this post harvest management, how it is done. Also, we will be discussing this post harvest management aspect in your plantation and horticulture chapter. Clear? Okay, so no worries about it. I hope till now everything is clear, right? um okay. Now let's understand the National Agriculture Research System. So students, what is this National Agriculture Research System? This is basically this is basically all the institute that are set up for the research and for the development of improved technology for agriculture, right? So National Agriculture Research System comprises of ICR, which is Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and all the central research institute, national research centers that are set up by ICR. Clear? So the entire institution system of agriculture is National Agriculture Research System. Under this, we have different agriculture, horticulture, and veterinary institute. Then we have deemed universities, national research centers. Then we have All India Coordinated Research Project and National Bureau and Project Directorates. Now the question arises that, ma'am, do we have to learn all these institutes that are given in your summary sheet? You might have got your summary sheet, and I hope you are following me through the summary sheet also. ठीक है? अभी तक अगर आप नहीं कर रहे हो तो please download your summary sheet and follow whatever I am teaching here in your summary sheet as well, so that you can highlight the important topic in your summary sheet and revise it later on, right? So students, all these institutes that are given in your summary sheet right now, please do not read it, because there are many, and it's not possible to learn every institute. What you can do rather, if you find any institute in your ARD current affair magazine, right? आपकी जो ARD current affair की magazine है, या ARD current affair जब आप पढ़ोगे, whenever you are reading ARD current affair, if you find any institute in that which is recently in news, you can learn about that institute. Okay. For the rest, I suggest right now you can just skip this part. Okay. Uh, Next, we have to talk about the revolutions. Okay. So students, in agriculture, the status of our country with regards to agriculture was not good before independence, right? Now, after independence also, we were completely dependent on other countries for import of food grains, right? Then slowly government realized the need of evolving agriculture and working on agriculture. So they started building institutes. The government started importing the varieties from other countries that can yield good, okay, that can, that can be distributed to the farmers. And that happens, and with that brings a revolution, that brings a revolution which is known as green revolution, right? So students, there are different revolutions that has happened in agriculture, wherein the production of any commodity has increased. Okay. So फर्स्ट रेवोल्यूशन दैट happened was green revolution. ठीक है? ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन क्या है? We all know that it is related to increase in food grain production. So some varieties were introduced in India, they were distributed to the farmers, and these varieties out yielded in India, right? So what happens after that? India became self-sufficient in food grain requirement, and we don't need to depend on, we are not, any more dependent on any other country for the import of food grains, and we became self-sufficient in food grain production, okay, especially rice and wheat, right? And not only we became self-sufficient, but right now what happens after that? We started exporting these food grains, right? So that was green revolution. So in your examination, questions are asked like, what do you understand? Question will be like, what is the name of revolution where food grain production increases? So there will be green revolution, blue revolution, red revolution. So your answer will be green revolution. So likewise, question will be asked to you in your examination, and accordingly, you have to learn all these revolution. Okay. Then we have another revolution, which is red revolution. So students, from the color of meat and tomato, you will learn it that it is for the meat and tomato. Okay, so when meat and tomato production increases, it was known as red revolution. Then there was a round revolution for potato. Potato are round in shape, so you will learn that round revolution was for potato. ठीक है? इस तरीके से आपको याद रखना है ये सारी चीजें. Then we have black revolution. So it is basically for petroleum, students, right? Then we have yellow revolution, which is for oil seeds. Now, you will learn it through mustard crop, right? The flower of mustard is yellow, as you can see in the picture. So yellow revolution is oil seed crop, right? Then we have white revolution. White revolution is for milk. So when milk production increases, it is known as white revolution, or it was also known as ऑपरेशन फ्लड. ठीक है, ऑपरेशन फ्लड भी बोला गया था ये. Okay, next we have is blue revolution. So students, when the fish production increases, it was known as blue revolution. Then we have brown revolution for leather and cocoa. Again, from the color of cocoa and leather, brown revolution. Then we have golden fiber revolution. It is the increase in production of jute. So students, जो jute है, the crop jute have golden fiber. They have the fiber color is goldenish in goldenish. You can see in the picture also. So hence it was given name golden fiber revolution. Clear? Now then we have next, which is pink revolution. Sorry, protein revolution. Protein revolution is for higher production in pulses. As we know, pulses are rich source of protein. So hence, protein revolution was the name given to the increase in production of pulses. Then we have another pink revolution, which is for onion and prawns. Okay? I hope till now it is clear. Okay, it is clear. Then we have another, which is golden revolution. So students, see, golden fiber revolution is for jute. Golden revolution is for increase in production of fruits, increase in production of honey, and overall horticulture increase, overall increase in horticulture crop. Okay, that is the term given as golden revolution. I hope it is clear what is golden fiber revolution and golden revolution, right? Now, students, similarly, we have silver fiber revolution. ठीक है, it is for cotton silver fiber, because cotton fiber is silver in nature. So silver fiber revolution, fiber is attached, so it is referring to some kind of fiber crop. Okay, so cotton is silver fiber revolution. Now then we have silver revolution. Silver revolution is basically for increase in egg production. So there is another two revolution, which is silver fiber and silver revolution. You uh, I hope it is clear to you. Okay, what is the difference here? Okay, now students, there are various people who have their contribution in agriculture, and due to which the techniques and technologies were developed. So we need to understand, we need to learn few names here. Okay, so first very important name is Pietro T. Crescenzi, father of agronomy, right? Father of agronomy is Pietro T. Crescenzi. I have told you agronomy is that branch of agriculture where we are dealing with field crops and their management, right? Then we have Stephen Hales. This was the PYQ asked to you in your examination. Stephen Hales is father of plant physiology, right? Then George Johann Mendel is the father of genetics. And now, very important two names are father of Green Revolution and father of Green Revolution in India. So, father of Green Revolution is Dr. Norman E. Borlaug, right? And if in question it is asked the father of Green Revolution in India, then it will be Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. Okay? Then father of hybrid cotton is C.T. Patel. Okay, so right for these thing, what you need to do, you need to you can learn as many as name you can, but your focus should be on few that I have discussed here, right? And keep these things for the later part, like before your examination, when you have time and you want to just go through these facts, then you can read these facts. Right now, just learn as much as possible कि जितने याद हो पा रहे हैं उतने याद करो. Otherwise, do not panic. Everything is not important for your examination. Similarly, these important dates, okay? So 10th of February is celebrated as World Pulse Day. Okay, 21st of March, International Day of Forest. 22nd March, World Water Day. 22nd April, World Earth Day is celebrated. 26th April, International Seed Day. June 1 is World Milk Day. June 5 is World Environment Day. These are important because your examination is going to happen on 20th, right? 20th December. So these recent dates can be asked you. 3rd December is celebrated as National Agriculture Education Day. Okay, to commemorate the birth anniversary of first agriculture minister, that is Mr. Rajendra Prasad. Okay, very important. Very important. World Soil Day can be asked to you, 5th December, and National Farmers Day or Kisan Divas can be also asked to you. Again, very important. Okay, again to mark the birth anniversary of Mr. Chaudhry Charan Singh. Clear? So these are important dates. At least learn these dates. Clear? Okay, so with this student, we have covered your chapter one, which was a very short chapter. Again, you can see it was all fact based. Now there are few questions I have brought up for you, and all these are previous year questions. Okay, I want everybody to answer. Okay, what will be the answer here? What is the branch of agriculture that deals with the production of fruits, vegetable, flowers, ornamental plants, spices, condiment, and beverages? Quickly give me the answers, please. Very good. Answer will be horticulture, right? So we have learned that in horticulture, we study about fruits, vegetable, flowers, ornamental plants, and etc. Okay, what will be the answer of this question? This was asked to you in your NABARD Grade A Phase 1 2021 exam. Study of vegetable is called. Study of vegetable. Very good. It is olericulture. Nice. What is pink revolution about? What is pink revolution about? Okay, it is onion and prawns. Very good. Next question is, who among the following is known as father of plant physiology? Okay, I have already told you this was asked in your examination. Very good. It is Stephen Hales, right? Stephen Hales. Study of fruits is called. Study of fruits is called. Very good. It is pomology, right? It is pomology. बहुत easy है, right? चलो. What is blue revolution about? What is blue revolution about? Quickly give me the answers. Very good. It is fish production, right? Chalo. Now, this was the different question asked to you in 2017. Plus, but if you know the answer first, please try to give answer, and then otherwise I'll give you the answer here. Okay? First agriculture university in India. First agriculture university in India. Okay. So students, this is very good. This is just a fact. Okay, you need to learn that first agricultural university in India is G.V. Pant University of Agriculture and Technology. Okay, so this was question asked to you in your 2017 examination. Okay, chalo. Now next is very easy. White Revolution is about. White Revolution is about. Very good. It is about milk production. Okay. Next, study of field crop and their management. 2021 में question पूछा गया. Study of field crops and their management is called. Very good. It is agronomy, right? Okay. Agriculture Education Day is celebrated to commemorate the birth anniversary of which of the following personality? Okay. I have just told you about this. Very good. It is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Okay. Very good. Chalo. With this, we have completed our chapter 1. Now we will start with chapter 2. Okay. It's a bit lengthy chapter, but okay. So I'll start, and if you guys need break in between, just do let me know. Okay, just do let me know. Okay, I can see answers coming in the comment section of YouTube also. Very good. The Dream Master, and good morning, VR Teja. Very good, right? So now we'll start your chapter 2. Okay. It's agronomy and field crop, right? Okay, so starting with this word agronomy. So again, you have to learn that this agronomy has been derived from a Greek word. Agros means field and nomos means management, right? When we are dealing with the field management, that is agronomy, right? Field management is agronomy. That is the meaning of term agronomy, which has been derived from Greek word. So it's a branch of agriculture science dealing with principle and practices of crop production and field management. So students, what is the principle and practices meaning here? That it means that for each crop, different practices are required, different principles are there, right? So basically, if you go for growing rice, you need different set of practice. If you go for growing cotton, different set of practices will be required. If you go for growing wheat, then another different set of practices will be required. So in agronomy, we learn about all these different principle and practices of growing all the crops along with field management, because see, ultimately you are going to grow crop on field. So field need to be managed effectively in order to get good yield, right? So all these is studied under agronomy. And again, father of agronomy is Pietro di Crescenzi. Okay, a very important person and can be asked to you in your examination. Clear? I hope I hope this definition is clear. Now, students, as I told you, in agronomy, we discuss or we read about crop production and field management. So first, let's understand what is this crop. Okay, so what kind of plants are called crops? So basically, students, when we are growing plants of same kind over a place for either commercial or subsistence purpose. ठीक है, either for commercial purpose or for subsistence purpose, if we are growing plants of same kind over a piece of land, that is known as crop, right? Like in your garden also, if you grow for, say, if you grow cauliflower, right, and you have grown 10 to 15 plants of cauliflower for the subsistence purpose, that is your crop, right? If a farmer is growing rice over hectares of land, so that is again a crop but grown for commercial purpose. Clear? So this is the meaning of crop. Now students, these crops are classified on different bases, but first we'll understand the classification of plant based on the scale of land where it is grown, right? So if the scale of land is very small, like a garden, a very small garden or backyard garden or kitchen garden, then such crop will be called as garden crop, right? So all the crops that you grow in your kitchen gardens are garden crops, right? Then if you grow crop in field, okay, wherein you are growing crop over hectares of land, then such crop will be called as field crop, right? And then we have another set of crop which is known as plantation crop. Now, students, there are few crops like you might have seen tea garden, coffee garden, rubber garden, right? Coconut garden. So, so what are these crops? Basically, these are not garden. Basically, these are the plantation crops, right? So sometimes a large state is dedicated to one particular plantation crop, right? So these plantation crops are basically perennial in nature. So once you establish a tea garden, you don't have to replant tea every year. Okay. Once you have established it, what you will do on yearly basis, you will just harvest the leaves. You will just pluck the leaves of tea plant, right? You will not go for growing again tea seeds and then the crop will grow and then you will pluck the leaf, right? So plantation crops are basically the perennial crops. They are established only once, okay, and on yearly basis harvest is taken from there, right? But in case of field crop, first of all, the scale of area is less as compared to the plantation crop. Another thing is in field crops, the crops are sown season after season or year after year, right? So here replanting is required because crops are either annual or biennial in nature. Clear? In plantation, crops are perennial in nature, means they can survive, they can they can complete their life cycle from for more than 2 years. They can take more than 2 years to complete their life cycle. But if any crop is taking just 1 year or 2 year, then 1 year crop will be called as annual and 2 year crop will be called as biennial crop. And that comes under field crops category. Okay? I hope it is clear कि what are garden crop, field crop and plantation crop. Okay. So students, in agronomy, we are dealing with the field crop. So we will take this field crop further. We will take our understanding of field crop further and we will see what are the different types of field crops on which basis they are classified, and what are the examples. Clear? Chalo. So students, field crops has been divided into different categories based on different criteria, right? So first base of criteria is that use of crop plant. What is the use of that crop plant or the produce that we are getting from that crop plant, right? So that is the first basis. Then we have season. In which season we are growing any particular crop is another basis. Then we have climate. Okay, what is the climatic condition that is required for any particular plant? Then ontogeny, which is life cycle. Then mode of pollination, nutrient uptake, classification of botanical classification, depth and type of root system, carbon dioxide fixation, special purpose. Now we will understand all these classifications one by one. First we have is based on use of plant and their product. Okay, so we have cereal crops. Under this we have different groups. We have cereal crops, pulse crop, oilseed crop, fiber crop, green manure crop. Then we have some commercial crop, sugar crop, and forage crop. Right. So let's start with the cereal crops. Now, what are these cereal crops? You might have uh, heard about cereals, right? Cereals are our staple food, or in general you might have heard this term cereals. So basically, what is the cereals crop? Cereals are generally the grasses. These crops are basically the grasses which are grown for their edible starch. So as they go, these cereal crops, they usually belong to the grass family. Okay, they are belonging to the grass family. But as these grasses have some kind of edible starchy grain in them, as these grasses can produce these kind of edible starchy grain, so what we do, we have brought these grasses under cultivation and we have started growing them on a very large scale. Okay, now these such grasses are called cereals, right? So I hope it is clear. Cereals is generally defined as cultivated grass grown for edible starchy grain. Now your staple food, which include your rice, wheat, maize, right, barley, oat, oats, all these things are cereals. All these things are cereals. Okay, they are basically belonging to the grass family only. But as they have this starchy grain, rice, the rice that you eat, right? The rice that you eat is basically the starchy grain which is produced by a grass, plant, right? So understand this thing. Cereals are nothing. It is basically the grasses that are grown for their edible starchy grain. Clear? I hope it is clear, and I hope what are the examples is also clear. Next, we have is pulses. Now, students, apart from the grasses that we grow for edible starchy grain, there are some other crop uh, grown where we get pulses, right? So these pulses are rich in protein. I have already told you they have high amount of protein. Hence, the revolution or the increase in production of pulses is known as protein revolution. Okay? Now, students, what are these pulses? Basically, again, these are grain legumes. Okay, grain legumes. What is this meaning of legumes? Legumes are basically the plants. Okay, these are the plants which can fix atmospheric nitrogen, Okay, now let's understand this whole thing in detail because it is important for your examination and can be asked to you. So basically, student, what happens? In the roots of these pulses or legume plants. So if any plant is called legume, that means that particular plant roots have some kind of nodules. Okay, some kind of nodules present in it, and inside these nodules a bacteria which is rhizome resides. Okay, a bacteria rhizome reside inside the root nodule of the pulse crop. Now, what this rhizome does, basically, it fix atmospheric nitrogen into the roots or root nodule of these pulses crop. Okay? And what it does, basically, it help in increasing the nitrogen content of soil. It help in increasing the nitrogen content of soil. you can see additional nitrogen is provided to the roots of these pulses, and hence that's why they are rich in protein. Clear? So basically, students, legumes are what? These are the crops, these are the plants that have the ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen. And students, see, understand the soil that we have, okay? Soil that we have in India is generally deficit in nitrogen nutrient, okay? And nitrogen is one of the important nutrient required for the crop growth. And see, if we have a mechanism where we can fix this nitrogen into the soil, so what will happen? It will help in increasing the soil fertility, right? It will help in increasing soil fertility, and hence the crop that we are growing over that soil will give us good production. Okay? So understand here, these pulses have this ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen. Nitrogen is very important nutrient for the crop growth, and hence as these crops have this ability to fix nitrogen, what will happen? The nitrogen content in soil will increase. So the next crop that we are growing will have enough nitrogen in soil for their growth and development, right? And the production will also increase. Clear? So these crops are called pulse crop. Clear? I hope it is clear. Okay, what are pulse crop and what kind of crops come under this category, right? So the word legume basically is derived from the Latin word leger, which means to gather. So what they are gathering? They are gathering the nitrogen. Clear? So, and it is very important in crop rotation, crop mixture, because see, students, when we grow crops like rice, wheat, or barley or maize, these crops do not contribute in replenishing the nitrogen. What they do, they, if we grow rice, okay, for example, if you have grown rice, so rice will grow for 6 months, okay. The rice plant will exhaust all nitrogen for the growth and development, but they will not replenish it back. And if you grow pulse after rice, what will happen? All the nitrogen that is exhausted by rice will be replenished by the pulses. Clear? Will be replenished by that particular pulse crop. So again, soil will have enough nitrogen for the coming crop. Clear? So that's why it is very important in crop rotation and crop mixture. Whenever we are adopting any kind of crop rotation for our field, we need to incorporate pulses there. Okay? I hope it is clear. If there is any doubt, please let me know in the chat section. Just give me thumbs up if till now everything is clear. Okay. Okay, very good. Next we have is oilseed crops, right? Now, students, what are oilseed crops again? From the name itself, it is clear. Crops uh, crops that are grown for the production of oil. Okay, from crops from where we are extracting the oil, like your mustard crop, like your soybean, right? Like your sunflower. So all these crops are grown for extracting oil from it, right? So such crop will be called as oilseed crops. Now there can be two type of oilseed crop. First is edible oilseed, another can be non-edible. अब eatable क्या है? Which we can consume, like groundnut, soybean, sunflower, we can consume. But there are some oilseed crops which are grown for extracting the oil, but as these oil are not directly used for consumption, they are rather used for some ointment or some medicinal purpose. They are called as non-edible oilseed crops, right? So I hope it's clear. Next is fiber crop. So students, from the name itself, it is clear that crop that is grown for extracting fiber, right? And these fibers are further utilized for making clothes, paper, and ropes. So all those crops are called fiber crops. Example are cotton and jute, right? Cotton and jute are example of your fiber crop. Now, fiber can be extracted from again different part of a plant. Okay, it's not important for your exam, but still you should know that there are some fruit fiber, means where the fruit part of plant, where we are extracting the fiber from the fruit part of plant, and it happens in it happens in cotton. You might have seen this cotton ball, right? So basically, this cotton ball is the fruit part of this plant. Okay, when we extract fiber from the stem, that is called stem, stalk, or bast fiber. ठीक है, in jute we extract fiber from the stem part, and sometimes we extract fiber from the leaf part, or it's also known as hard fiber. Okay, example is sisal and manila hemp for that. Clear? So basically you need to just understand that fiber is extracted from different part of a plant, and based on that just learn कि cotton is extracted from fruit part of a plant. Jute fiber is extracted from the stem, stalk, or it is also known as bast fiber. Clear? Okay. Then we have sugar crop. Again, crop which is grown for the production of sugar and starch is known as sugar crop. So basically, we have two crops here: sugar cane and sugar beet. Right now, sugar cane we know is commonly used in India for the production of sugar, but sugar beet is not used in India, but in other countries. Sugar is extracted from sugar beet. Clear? Next, we have commercial crops. Now, students, apart from the crops that we have discussed so far, there are some commercial crops like your tobacco, cotton, jute. Okay, they are not for the consumption purpose. They are basically grown for the trade purpose, or they are taken to the industry for further processing, right? So, such crops are called as commercial crops, right? Sugarcane, cotton, tobacco, these are called a called as commercial crops. So basically, 75% of the product is taken to the mill or to some kind of industry for further processing. Clear? Okay. Then we have forage crop. What is forage crop basically, students? Forage crops are the crops which we are growing for the vegetative matter. Vegetative matter क्या होता है? This is the leaf part of the plant, leaf or the foliage part of the plant. Okay, and this is used, or this is grown for feeding the animal. Okay, why we are growing this forage crop? To feed livestock, right? So that is a forage crop. It include fodder, hay, silage, and pasture. Now, students, we need to learn the difference between these four. Fodder क्या है? Any crop where you have cut down the vegetative matter just for immediate use. Okay, just for immediate feeding to livestock. That is fodder. Okay, like this is the maize crop which is grown for fodder. You have cut down this maize crop and given to the and you have gave it to the livestock for feeding, right? So that will be fodder. Then we have hay. Hay is basically what you do. You cut down this crop and you sun dry it. Okay, right now, like if there is a season where you have plenty of fodder crop, okay, you do not have any limitation, and you can easily feed your livestock, as well as you can save some part of this fodder crop for future purpose. So how you will save it? Basically, what you will do sun drying. You will sun dry the fodder crop and you will store it. You will bring down the moisture content from that fodder crop so that it can be stored for longer duration of time. Okay, that is known as hay. Then we have another method of storing which is known as silage. What is silage, students? Here, crops like maize, this is cut down into small pieces. Okay, and then it is allowed to ferment. A whole you don't have to learn कि क्या process है silage making की. Just understand what is silage. Basically here, crop is allowed to ferment. Okay, and then after attaining a certain pH, after attaining a certain smell, or after attaining a certain condition, this silage or this fermented crop is stored for future use, when the farmer do not have enough supply of these forage crops. That is known as silage. Clear? That is known as silage. And next we have is pastures. What are pastures? These are basically the lands. These are basically the huge lands which are managed for rearing of livestock. Okay, you might have seen the entire area is dedicated for rearing of livestock. That is known as pastures. Okay. Okay. Hay is what? Hay is basically when you cut down the fodder material and you sun dry it. Okay, you allowed to reduce the moisture from that particular fodder material, and then you store it for the. See, the difference is how it is same in hay. You are reducing the moisture content of fodder. ठीक है, हे में आप क्या कर रहे हो? यू आर रिड्यूसिंग द मॉइस्चर कंटेंट बाय ड्राइंग इट. The process of storage is different, totally different here. You are drying the fodder material and then storing it in the hay. In silage, you are not drying it, you are fermenting it. You are, uh, cutting down this fodder material into small, small pieces, and then you are keeping it in some kind of bins. And in that bins, you are allowing it to ferment. And after fermentation, then you are storing it. Okay, now I hope it's clear what is the difference between hay and silage. Clear? Abhijit, is it clear? Okay. Chalo, again, see silage crops. What are silage crops? You can see here the crop has been cut down into small, small pieces. Crop like corn, legume, grasses that have been harvested at early maturity. They are finely chopped, packed tightly to exclude air, stored in towers, silos, pit, and trenches for properly fermentation. Okay, which is used as animal feed during lean period or off season. Clear? Here examples are maize, cowpea, jowar and sorghum. These are used for the silage making. These are used for silage making. Clear? Chalo. Next we have is green manure crops. What are green manure crops? Basically, again, these crops have high nitrogen content in it. So what we do, we grow these crops and then we incorporate these crop in soil. Okay, like you have grown this green manure crop. After some time, you will chop this crop and you will incorporate this crop into the soil. So what will happen slowly and slowly, this crop which is mixed in soil will start decomposing, and as the decomposing process proceeds, the nitrogen content will increase in soil because these crop have enough nitrogen in it. Okay, so basically what we do, we just cut down this crop, incorporate it in the soil, allow it to decompose. During the process of decomposition, when microorganisms act on these tissues of this particular plant or this particular crop, what happens? The nitrogen is released into the soil, and soil become more fertile. So that is basically the green manure crop. An example here is sun hemp and dhecha. Clear? Clear? I hope it's clear. Okay. Is there any thing you want to ask regarding this classification that we have discussed? See, regarding marathon Falgun, yes, there will be marathon classes. Okay, no, don't worry. There will be marathon classes. Yes, Ravina. See, examples are sometimes important because sometimes they can ask you examples, sometimes, not always. But like, see, it's like this green manure crops. They can ask you directly, like regarding the green manure crops, but chances are that they can ask you examples. Not for every crop they will be asking you, not for every classification they will be asking the examples. But yes, if you can learn few examples, that will be very, very good. Okay, that will be really good. Okay. Chalo. Next classification is based on ontogeny, which is the life cycle. Now, students, already I have told you about this classification where we discussed about annual, biennial, and perennial. Okay? If any crop can complete the life cycle within 1 year, that is annual crop. If any crop take 2 years to complete their life cycle, which that is known as biennial, and if any crop take more than 2 years to complete the life cycle, is perennial crop, right? So your crops that you see, rice, wheat, okay, which change after season, in Kharif season you are sowing rice, in Rabi season you are sowing wheat. So it is just a 6 month crop. Within 1 year, it is completing its life cycle, right? So all these come under annual crop. Sugar beet is a biennial crop that takes 2 years to complete life cycle. And other crops like napier fodder grasses, coconut, okay, these are your example of perennial crops. Clear? I hope it's clear. So basically, students, let's understand the life cycle of a crop. So first is starting with seed. Okay? There is a seed. Now we place this seed into the field. and now the seed will start developing the vegetative matter, which is the stem and the leaf part. Stem and the leaf part, right? Then root will also start developing here, right? But this stem and leaf part that is growing, initially you will see only the green stem and leaf. This is known as vegetative phase. Vegetative phase. Okay. After this, there comes another phase where now this plant has started producing flower. Okay. Now you will see after some time the vegetative phase is over, means all the leaves and stem are developed. Then after that this plant will start producing flowers. This is known as reproductive phase. Reproductive phase. ठीक है? And then what will happen? We will harvest this plant. Again, we will extract seed out of it. And again, that seed will be sown to grow next plant, right? So this is basically the life cycle of plant. This is the life cycle of a plant. Clear? So I hope it's clear. Now, from now onward, if I say that vegetative phase, that means the phase before flowering. If I say reproductive phase, that means the phase where plant has started to flower. Clear? So this is the complete life cycle of a plant. Clear? Any confusion here? Okay. Now students, there is a botanical classification of plant. Okay. Now, in botany, the entire plant kingdom has been divided into different groups, right? So we don't have to learn all those. We don't have to learn what is bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperm, and angiosperm. The one thing that is important for us to know, the meaning of cotyledons. Okay, basically all your crop plants first fall under angiosperm family. Okay, angiosperm group basically. It's not family. So angiosperm group में fall करते हैं आपके जितने भी क्रॉप प्लांट्स होते हैं. अगेन इट्स नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट. इम्पॉर्टेंट क्या है कि what is the meaning of monocot and dicot? That can be asked to you. What is monocot, student? So sometimes you might have seen that some seeds, like maize seed, this is a maize seed, right? So if you try to split it open, it will not divide into two equal halves. Okay, it will not divide into two equal halves. Like your rice seed you might have seen, or wheat seed in general, that will not divide into two equal half. That means these crops are monocotyledons. Okay, monocotyledons. One cotyledon it has. That's why it is not dividing into two equal halves. But sometimes you might have seen in pulses majorly, or if you have ever opened pea seed. So pea seed get divided easily into two equal half, right? Pulses easily get divided into two equal half. That means they are dicotyledons. They have two cotyledons. That's the thing which you need to understand here. That's it. Okay, what is monocotyledon? What is dicotyledon? If any crop plant have only one cotyledon, is known as crop plant seed have one cotyledon, that is monocotyledon. If it has two cotyledon, that is dicotyledon. Examples you can just imagine by observing the seed that you have seen so far. So maize का seed हो गया, rice का seed हो गया, wheat का seed हो गया, all these are monocotyledons. Pulses जितनी भी हैं, that comes under dicotyledons. Clear? I hope it's clear. Okay, next we have is based on season. So students, this is something you all might know, that the different crops are grown in different season, right? We have different seasons like Kharif season, Rabi season, Zaid season, or summer season. So you'll find that few crops can be grown well in Kharif season only, few can be grown well in Rabi season, and few can be grown in Zaid season. Now, why this happens basically as the crop requirement. Okay, like for example, rice. Rice is usually sown in Kharif season. Why? Because in Kharif season, this season start when your monsoon arrives. इसको monsoon season भी कहते हैं. Okay, so it is also known as monsoon season. It starts from June and July, right? When monsoon arrives, and rice need the highest amount of water. Rice need more amount of water for grow for its growth and development, right? So approximately 1 kg of rice need around 3000 liters of water. Okay, you can see the water requirement of rice. It is very, very, very high, right? So that can be met during monsoon season. Also, the temperature and climatic conditions that are there during June, July is favorable for growing rice. So what we do, we grow rice in Kharif season. Clear? So basically, students, based on season, again, we have Kharif crop, Rabi crop, and summer and Zaid crop. Kharif season start from June, July. It ends in September, October. Basically, the harvesting of Kharif crop is done in September and October. After that, your Rabi season starts, where sowing start from October, November, and harvesting is done in March, April, right? And in between Kharif and Rabi, whatever time is left is summer or Zaid season. Here, Zaid crops can be grown, which are short duration crop, like your black gram, green gram, cowpea. It starts from February, March, and the harvesting of such crop is done during May and June. Clear? So I hope it's clear. Kharif is monsoon season, basically starting from June, July, ending to September, October. आफ्टर खरीफ यू स्टार्ट रबी सीजन अक्टूबर में इसकी हार्वेस्टिंग हो रही है तो रबी की सोइंग कब होगी अगेन अक्टूबर से होगी अक्टूबर नवंबर में सोइंग होगी हार्वेस्टिंग मार्च अप्रैल में होगी जायद फेब्रवरी मार्च में इसकी सोइंग होगी एंड मई जून में हार्वेस्टिंग होगी सो ऑल दीज seasons are there and you need to learn few examples because in your examination the question that was asked to you is was like there was one crop given कि this crop is sown in which season ठीक है so they can ask you such question so you need to learn few example at least okay clear I hope till now all the classifications are clear. Okay, next classification which we have is depth of root system. What is the depth of root system? Okay, so students see you will find the roots of some crop are very shallow, some are very deep. Okay, so based on the depth of root system of any crop, we have shallow root crop, intermediate root crop, and then we have deep root crops. What are shallow root crops? Basically, where the root system do not extend to a greater depth. Okay, it is just below 1 meter. Okay, like your wheat, barley, rye, they are shallow root crops. All your cereal crops are basically shallow root crops. Rice is also a shallow root crops. Maize is also a shallow root crops. Clear? Then we have intermediate root crop where the root system extend from 1 to 1.5 meter range. Example is fava bean and sugar beet. And then we have deep root crops where the root system goes beyond 1.5 meter. Example is alfalfa. Okay, so just remember based on the root system, we have shallow root crop, intermediate root crop, and deep root crop. Clear? Okay. Moving to the next, there is a classification based on type of root system. So students, basically, in any plant, there will be either taproot system or fibrous root system. So basically, there are two type of root system. Okay? So either there will be taproot or either there will be fiber root system. So what is taproot? You can see this is a picture of taproot system where the root, one main root is extending in the soil. Okay. And then supporting this or there are few lateral roots. Okay? There are few lateral root attached to this one main root. This is tap root system. This is seen in red gram and grapes. Then we have fibrous root. You can see here there is no main root. Rather, small rootlets are arising from the base of a stem, right? So this is fibrous root system, right? It is seen in all kind of cereal crops. Rice, wheat, maize, all those have fibrous root system. Now, students, from here you can relate that if any crop have fibrous root system, it will be not not very deep, right? It will be just a shallow root system. So you can see here shallow root crops. All your cereal crops are also shallow root crops as they have this fibrous root system. Clear? Okay. Is this 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 clear Now, next is based on climate. So, students, based on climate, again, we have temperate, tropical, and subtropical crop. Okay, in which climate we are actually growing these crops. So, temperate zone crops are basically the crops which can be grown in cool climatic condition, right? Where the temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius, okay, where sometimes there is a snowfall. So such crops are called temperate zone crops, crops that can grow in such region where the climatic condition is very, the temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius sometimes, and there is snowfall, or there is a cool environment. So that is a temperate zone crop. Your wheat, oat, rye are example of temperate zone. Then we have tropical zone. In tropical zone, students' temperature is very high. Okay, there is an extreme weather condition. So such crop that can grow in such areas are, or in such zones are known as tropical zone crops. Example is rice, sugarcane, and mango. Then we have subtropical. What is subtropical? Basically, it is in between the crop. It is basically the climatic condition which is in between temperate and tropical. Neither too hot, neither too cold, right? So example is citrus and date, fig, which can be grown in subtropical regions. Clear? Clear? Is it clear till now? Please show me the thumbs up so that I can proceed. Okay? Clear है अभी तक? Okay. I hope it is easy to understand, right? Okay, tropical क्या है? Tropical is basically where the temperature is very high. Okay, so uh, like the area where the temperature throughout the year is generally very high. Okay, that zone is called as tropical zone. Okay, so yeah, crop growing in such areas are called tropical zone crops. Okay, then we have uh, classification based on nutrient uptake. Now, students, see, some crops are exhaustive in nature and some crops are restorative in nature. Meaning, I have told you what are legumes. What legumes does? Basically, they return nutrient back to the soil. They return nitrogen back to the soil, right? They return organic matter back to the soil. So they are called restorative crops because when we grow any pulse crop, so whatever they are taking from the soil, they are also making sure that they are returning it back to the soil as they can fix atmospheric nitrogen, as they can increase the nitrogen content in the soil, right? So crops basically which return nutrient and so organic matter to the soil are restorative crop. All your legumes, alfalfa are the example of restorative crops. Then we have exhaustive crop. What are exhaustive crops? Basically crops which feed heavily on soil and deplete soil nutrient. Okay. Now there are crops like all your cereal crops. They feed heavily on soil for nutrient. Okay, they exhaust soil nutrient, but they do not contribute in restoring it. They do not contribute in replenishing it, basically. Okay, so such crops are called exhaustive crops. Clear? I hope it's clear. Restorative and exhaustive crops क्या होती हैं? Okay, now students, based on CO2 fixation. Okay, so there is another classification which is based on CO2 fixation. What is the CO2 fixation? Now we know that plants do photosynthesis for making their food, right? So photosynthesis के लिए, in order to make glucose, they need carbon source. And what is the source of carbon for the plant? It is the carbon dioxide which is present in atmosphere. So what plant will do? Plant will absorb this carbon dioxide and fix it, right? So basically, how that fixation is done, based on that, entire plants or the entire plant kingdom has been divided into three groups, which is C3 plant, C4 plant, and CAM plant. So if any plant fix CO2 and convert this CO2 into three carbon compound, okay? If the first carbon compound which is fixed, if the first carbon compound which is formed after fixing CO2 inside any plant have three carbon, then that plant will come under C3 plant category. In some plants, what happens? CO2 is fixed and it get converted into 4 carbon compound. ठीक है? Then that will come under, all those plant will come under C4 plant category. Clear? So this is difference between C3 and C4. Okay, I'll repeat it once again. See, plants need to do photosynthesis to make glucose. ठीक है? Glucose क्या है? It is a carbon compound, right? Now, in order to make this carbon compound, plant need to fix carbon, right? Plant need to absorb some carbon, and that source of carbon is CO2 from atmosphere. So what plant will do? Plant will fix this CO2 in it. It will absorb the CO2, and then that CO2 is fixed, and then it is converted to glucose. Now, this fixing of CO2 can happen in different pathways. ठीक है? Sometimes CO2 is fixed by the plant and it is converted. The CO2 is converted into 3 carbon compound, and further this 3 carbon compound is processed for making glucose. Such plants are called C3 plants. If any plant fix this CO2 and get converted into 4 carbon compound, and then further this 4 carbon compound is processed to make glucose, then such plant will be called as C4 plants. Clear? Okay. Now, apart from C3, first we'll understand C3 and C4 and then we'll come to the CAM plants. Okay. So students, 85% of percentage of plant population that we have are of C3 nature. Only 3% are of C4 type. Okay. So photosynthesis here, again C3 photosynthesis hoga because plant carbon is getting converted into C3 carbon compound. Here carbon is getting converted into C4 carbon compound. Okay. Now student, when C3 carbon get converted into C3 or 3 carbon compound, then there is a cycle which is known as C3 cycle that happens. ठीक है, देखो ये इतना important नहीं है. You just need to understand what is C3 C4 plant and their examples. They are important. Okay. And CAM plant ke regarding, you need to understand what is the mechanism of stomata opening here, that I'm going to tell you in a minute, right? So here, just understand, here C3 cycle happen. In this particular case, first C4 happens and then C3 happens. Basically, so what happened, this C4 carbon compound that is formed after fixing CO2, okay, this need to be reduced to C3. क्यों? क्योंकि जो glucose होता है that have C6, this C3 will be doubled and then the glucose will be formed. You cannot make glucose from C4 carbon compound because that will be C8. If you double C4, it will become C8. So what happens, basically this C4 need to be reduced. So here C3 and C4 both cycle happens to convert this carbon dioxide into glucose. Clear? Now, if we see the mechanism of stomata opening, so in case of C3 and C4, stomata open at daytime and closes during night. अच्छा, अब ये stomata क्या है? So in your leaves, देखो students, I have told you कि plant क्या करते हैं, CO2 को fix करते हैं. अब CO2 को fix करेंगे means they need to absorb, they need to allow the CO2 to pass inside the plant body, right? तो अब इसको फिक्स कैसे करेंगे? देर आर सम ओपनिंग्स, दीज ओपनिंग्स आर कॉल्ड स्टोमेटा. ठीक है, these openings are called stomata through which CO2 is fixed inside the plant. CO2 enter inside the plant body. ठीक है. So in case of C3 and C4, these stomata are open during daytime and closes during night. ठीक है. Now, these plants, C3 plants are basically found in temperate and C4 are basically found in tropical and semi-tropical regions. ठीक है. Examples important है. All your cereals are part of C3. Crops like sugarcane, maize, sorghum and millet are example of C4. C4 के examples are important because there are only few crops of C4 nature. So you need to learn it. ठीक है. Now coming to the CAM plant. Now students, there is a whole new another category of plant which is known as CAM plant. So in this CAM plant, first of all, this CAM cycle happens in plant which are found in arid condition. Arid is basically dry condition, desert condition, right? So what happened, if these plants open stomata during daytime, they will lose a lot of they will lose a lot of water from the plant body, right? So they will lose water. what they need to do, they need to preserve this water because already they are found in area where there is a scarcity of water. So in order to save water, what they do, they reverse the stomata opening cycle. They open their stomata during night and close during daytime. So what happens in case of scam plant? Everything is same, just the difference is that they are opening the stomata during night time. They are storing all CO2 at once during night, and during daytime the stomata are closed, and during daytime that CO2 which is stored during the night time is processed into glucose. Clear? So this is basically the CAM plants or the CAM photosynthesis. Okay, so basically the stomata opening and closing is changed. जैसे कि C3 और C4 में डे में स्टोमेटा ओपन हो रहा था, रात रात को बंद हो रहा था, बट in case of CAM plants, stomata is opening during night time in order to absorb CO2, close during daytime, and in during daytime that CO2 is converted into glucose. Clear? So all your plants that are found in desert condition like orchids, pineapple, cactus, these are CAM plants. Okay, it is known as cancellation acid metabolism. Okay, I hope it is clear. इसमें से स्टूडेंट्स देखो ज्यादा कंफ्यूज नहीं होना है, यू जस्ट नीड टू लर्न एग्जाम्पल्स. एग्जाम्पल्स इंपॉर्टेंट है. स्टोमेटल मूवमेंट क्या होती है, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? एंड द पाथवे इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. क्लियर? आई होप इट्स क्लियर. ओके. Now we have another classification which is based on special purpose. Okay. So students, there are few terminologies given to crops based on the purpose they are grown. Okay. So you just need to understand when we refer to these things. Like if I say arable crops, so you need to understand ki what do I mean by arable crops, right? So similarly, for that purpose, for different purposes, crops are being grown, and similarly, the terminologies has been given to them. So you need to learn these terminologies basically. Okay. The arable crops क्या होती हैं? Basically, arable crops are those crops where you need to prepare the soil, where you need to plow the land. Okay. So where land preparation is required, basically, such crops are called arable crops, right? Then we have another aromatic crops. From the name itself, it is suggesting some kind of aroma is associated with these crops, right? So they have some kind of odoriferous or volatile substance due to which they are different and are used for different purposes, right? So crops having some aroma associated with them are called aromatic crops. Then we have augment crops. Augment crops are what? So basically sub crop students, they when they are grown with main crop, like we have two crops. Okay, augment crops ka example is Japanese mustard and berseem. So berseem is our main crop. Okay, if you grow only berseem, for say you are getting only 10 quintals of yield. Okay, but if you grow berseem along with Japanese mustard, you see that your yield has increased to 15 quintal for berseem. So what this Japanese mustard has done, basically, this Japanese mustard will be called as augment crop, which has helped in increasing the production of main crop. Clear? So that is the meaning of augment crop, where the yield of main crop is increased by any particular crop. Clear? Next we have is avenue crop. What is avenue crop, students? Sometimes you might have seen in the farm boundary or the alongside of the road, there are some trees or plants grown, right? So these are called avenue crops. Okay. Then we have catch crop or contingent crop. So basically, as the name suggests, catch crop or contingent. So they are basically planned. They are not planned. Basically, they are grown just after the main crop in order to, uh, in order to what they if our main crop fails, like if our main crop fails and we have incurred some kind of losses in our main crop, so in order to reduce that losses, we just grow for growing some contingent crop, right? Some short duration crop can be grown, which can again help in balancing out the losses that we have incurred in the previous crop or the main crop, right? So a quick growing crop incidentally planned and harvested between two main crop in a consecutive season. Also, it may be contingency crop, which is to replace the main crop if the main crop fails. Okay? So, if your main crop fails or if there is any loss that you have incurred in the main crop, you will grow some short duration crop so that you can make up for that losses. That is called contingent or catch crop. Okay. Then we have contour crops. So students, what are contour crops? First of all, what are contour we'll understand. Sometimes we have the slopy land. Okay, we do not have flat land, rather we have a slopy land, right? So what we do, what are contours? Basically, contours are the line joining the similar points, right? So uh, this is the contour line joining the similar point in this slopy land. So along with these contour lines, when we are growing any crops, they are called as contour crops. You can see here, this is a slopy land and these are the contour lines. Okay? Lines joining same elevation. So along with these contour line, when we are growing any crop, such crop will be called as contour crop. Clear? Clear? Okay. Next we have is a complementary crop. So basically, what is complementary crop? Both main crop and intercrop are benefited to each other. Basically, we grow two crops and these two crops benefit each other. Okay, such crop are called complementary crop. And then we have competitive crop. Sometimes when we grow two crops, they both can compete for the same nutrient and same resources, right? And that lead to the competition. That crop will be called as competitive crop, and no two competitive crops should be grown together because ultimately they will compete for the resources and the yield will be less, right? So no two cereals can be grown together because cereals are exhaustive crops, okay, and they compete for the resources. Then we have next fouling crop. What is fouling crop? Basically, students, sometimes few crop infestation, few crops when grown, or the practices that is used for growing some crops allowed allow weed infestation. Okay? They allow weed to grow in the field. Such crops are called fouling crops, right? Okay, let me give you the example of fouling crop. So for say we have rice, okay? In one field we have done transplanting of rice, okay, where proper techniques are used of transplanting, where we have used the flooded condition. We have flooded the field and then we have transplanted the rice seedling. Okay? In other field, we have just broadcasted the rice seed. Okay? Now, you tell me, in which scenario weed infestation will be more? Please tell me in which scenario the weed infestation will be more, in transplanting one or in the broadcasting one? Okay, Abhijit, देखो augment crop. Okay, वेरी गुड वेरी गुड. ब्रॉडकास्टिंग में ज्यादा इन्फेस्टेशन होगा वीड्स का. क्यों होगा? वाई? It will be because in case of transplanting one, what we have done, we have flooded the rice. We have flooded the field. Okay, we have created the flooding condition and then we have transplanted the rice seedling. Okay. What will happen here? The weed seeds that are present in the field will not be able to respire due to the anaerobic condition, right? Weed infestation will be less. In case of broadcasting, directly we have placed the seed on field, so there is enough space for weeds to grow. There is direct contact of air with the weed seed to grow. So this practice of rice where we are growing rice in broadcasting method will be called as fouling crop. Okay, this which is grown in broadcasting will be called as fouling crop, as this has increase the weed infestation. Okay. Coming back to the Abhijit's query. So there he has asked the difference between augment crop and the complementary crop. Okay. See, Abhijit, in case of augment crop, yield of main crop is increased. Okay, yield of main crop is increased. In case of complementary crop, we are growing two crop, but there is no effect on yield. Okay, yield will remain same. Okay, they are just complementary crops are just benefiting each other, but it's not just it's not always like yield will increase. It can be for the support purpose. Jowar is providing support to the lobia, and lobia is a pulse crop which is increasing the nitrogen content in soil for growing of jowar, right? So this support can be of any type, but in case of augment, always yield will increase. Clear? Okay. Chalo. Next, we have mulch crop, stimulant crop, sorry, and then supplementary crops. Mulch crop क्या होती है students? देखो mulch, whenever mulch term is used, understand it is to cover the soil. Okay. And why we need to cover the soil? So students, we need to conserve the soil, right? We need to conserve the soil moisture. We need to conserve soil from erosion. So anything which is used to cover the soil is called as mulch. And sometimes some crops which can cover the soil within short duration of time can be grown in order to conserve the soil moisture, right? Such crop will be called as mulch crop. Example is cowpea. Okay. So basically, when crops are grown where the foliage can cover the entire soil surface to conserve soil moisture, that crop will be called as mulch crop. Then we have stimulate crop. Stimulate crop is basically which stimulate the human body, which stimulate the nervous system like tobacco and opium, right? Then we have supplementary crop. What are supplementary crop? These crops are neither complementary, neither nor competitive. Okay, they do not have any effect on each other. They neither support each other. They neither they compete with each other. Okay, they are called supplementary crops. Example is your maize and cucurbits. So they can be easily grown together. Okay, because they do not have any impact on each other. Clear? Okay, then we have truck crops. So students, see, truck crops are basically the crops which are grown for on a large scale, and they are taken to the distant market, like your fruits and like your vegetables. Okay, you have harvested the vegetable today, so it need to be taken to the market today itself because it can get spoiled. So such crops are called truck crops, right? So you need trucks for the transportation. You can learn from here कि they are called truck crops. Okay, then we have trap crops. Okay, what are trap crops? Sometimes we need to protect our main crop. Okay, it's like we have a main crop and there is some pest of main crop which heavily infect our main crop and can reduce the yield. What we'll do, we will grow one trap crop around main crop. Okay, we will grow another crop around main crop. So now this pest will feed on this trap crop. Okay, like here example of cotton is given. So cotton is our main crop, and cotton bug, cotton red bug feed on cotton. So if we want to protect cotton from red bug, lady finger can be grown around the cotton crop or around the cotton field. So what this cotton red bug will do, this cotton red bug will feed on lady finger. It will not feed on cotton. So your main crop is protected, right? So this type of crop is known as trap crop. Clear? Then we have smoother crop. So smoother crops are basically students crops which are grown to suppress weed. Okay, weeds को suppress करने के लिए जो crops grow की जाती है, they are known as smoother crops. Okay, so basically what this crop does, these crop cover the soil surface, unlike your mulch crop. ठीक है, soil surface को cover कर देते हैं. They do not allow any space for weed seed to grow. ठीक है, तो weed seed के लिए कोई space ही नहीं बचता है grow करने के लिए. Hence, the weed growths are suppressed in the field. Okay, I hope you know the meaning of weeds. Weeds are basically the unwanted plants in field. ठीक है, unwanted plants in field that we don't want to, that we don't want them to grow. ठीक है, so example of smoother crop is buckwheat and cowpea. Okay, then we have paired row crops. So students, some crops are grown in paired rows. Okay. This practice is usually adopted in dryland areas so that the moisture can be stored in between these paired rows, and at times when there is less moisture or no irrigation, that can be utilized by the crop. The moisture can be utilized by the crop. Paired row crop is nothing, it is just growing crop in paired rows. ठीक है. पेरा उटेरा क्रॉप क्या है? It is known as, also known as relay crop. ठीक है, relay crop. What is done here? Like you can see one crop, the stubble of one crop is there in the field, okay, and other crop is growing. So what we have done basically here, we have sown the seed of this particular crop where you are seeing the purple flower before harvesting of this crop, ठीक है, where which we have harvested already here. So sometimes what is done, the seeds of you know next crop is sown in between the previous crop, before the harvesting of previous crop. Like for example, we have rice field, okay, and there is still 10-15 days left to harvest this rice crop. What we'll do, we will sow lethyrus, okay, lethyrus before harvesting the rice. So whatever moisture is present in the field, okay, whatever moisture, whatever nutrients are present in the field, that can be utilized by lethyrus seed, and lethyrus seed will start germinating, okay, and after some times we will harvest the rice seed. So basically, when we are sowing any crop before harvesting the previous one, that is known as pera, utera, or relay crop. Clear? Then we have nurse crop. What is nurse crop basically here? Sometimes some crops are grown to nurse other crop, okay, to protect the other crop. So such crop will be called as nurse crop. Okay? So it can be in the terms of providing shade to the other crop if any crop is shade loving and cannot tolerate direct sunlight. So some crop can be grown to provide shade. So the crop that is grown to provide shade will be called as nurse crop. Clear? I hope it's clear. Okay, next we have is a lay crop. So students, lay crop are what? Basically it is the grasses legume mixture. We are growing grasses and legume on a field. ठीक है, this grasses and legumes are generally grown for feeding the livestock, but also these lay crops help in conserving soil and water. ठीक है. So basically here, these grasses and legume mixture that are grown for grazing or harvesting for immediate or future feeding of livestock are called lay crops. Then we have a border guard crop. Sometimes we need to protect our main crop from the trespassing animals. So for that, border crops are grown. Clear? So I hope this is also clear. Ki what are border crops? So students have flowers as they have uh, they have thorn in it, so they can be grown in border so that the trespassing animal do not damage our main crop. Clear? So that will be the border crop. Okay, now students, there are some famous name given to the crops, like king of cereals is wheat, queen of cereals is maize, king of coarse cereals is sorghum, queen of pulses is chickpea, queen of pulses is pea, king of oilseed is groundnut, king of fodder crop is berseem, queen of fodder crop is lucerne, golden fiber is jute, and vegetable meat is cowpea. So they can ask you such questions, okay, in your examination, ki what is the yeah, king of cereal is known as, or who, which crop is known as queen of pulses. So likewise, question can be asked to you only once or twice. Such kind of question is asked in your examination. So if you can learn, just learn all these crops, these important crops, and the famous name given to them, right? Okay. Till now, if there is any confusion, any doubt, please let me know. Any confusion, any doubt till now, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll proceed further then. Okay, everything is clear. अभी तक कोई डाउट है, कोई कंफ्यूजन है, कोई क्लासिफिकेशन समझ में नहीं आया है? सी स्टूडेंट्स, वी नीड टू एग्री टू अ पॉइंट कि यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा द पेस ऑफ क्लास इज वेरी वेरी फास्ट फॉरवर्ड, बट वी नीड टू डू इट राइट. Okay, so first I'll cover this particular chapter, okay, and then we'll have a break. Then we'll take a break, okay, because we need to cover two more chapters. So already it's 9:15, and we need to cover two more chapters, and yeah, after this chapter we'll take a break. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break then. Okay, so students, till now we have studied about one aspect of agronomy, that is field crops, different types of field crops, right? Next, I told you agronomy is also about the field management, right? Now we will see the field management aspect. And before that, we need to first understand what are the steps involved in crop production, right? So once we understand these crops need to be produced on large scale, right? And there's need to be some kind of practices followed in order to do better crop production. So first we need to prepare the land. Okay, first we'll do the soil preparation where we'll till the land, plow the land. Okay, made soil uh, suitable for sowing of seed, right? And this part is what we are going to discuss in detail here. Next is sowing of seed, which will be again a next chapter, right? Seed and sowing, where we'll see how the seeds are sown in the field. ठीक है? Seed sow करेंगे, उसके बाद what we do, we irrigate these seeds so that seeds can germinate. Further irrigation is provided for meeting the water demand, right? Then manure, fertilizer, and pesticides are applied, and then this crop is protected till harvesting, and then crop is harvested and then stored for further use, right? So we will discuss this first step in detail in this chapter about the preparation of soil. Okay, so students, how soil is prepared basically. So soil is, first step is to plow or till the soil. What is plowing and tillage basically? It is opening up of hard soil. See, if you have any bare land, you cannot just put seeds on bare land. You need to pulverize that land. You need to, prepare this land for prepare the land for which can be suitable for sowing of a seed, or which can be suitable for supporting the germination of seed, right? So plowing is basically the first step. Plowing is what it is, basically opening up of the soil, okay, opening of the hard soil in order to make it suitable for sowing of seed, right? Now students, you might have heard plowing and tillage are two terms simultaneously used, but plowing is very generic term. Okay, it is very generic term. Here we are just opening up the soil. We are just removing all weeds and everything is done at once. But in agriculture, usually we say tillage. What is tillage? It is basically the opening up of land or losing the hard mass of soil in a scientific way. Okay, in a particular specific manner. In stepwise way, we are opening or we are pulverizing the soil. Okay, so stepwise when we are, or in the scientific way when we are manipulating the soil, that is known as tillage. And plowing is very generic term. Okay, so that is difference between plowing and tillage. And first step is to plow or till the land, right? Next is leveling. So students, sorry. So next step is to level the land. Now, if our land will be unleveled, right? If our land will be unleveled, so what will happen after that? If you, whatever activity you do over this land, be it sowing of seed, irrigating the field, it will be not uniform. It will be not uniform. So you, if in order to make uniform, in order to make everything uniform, you need to level the land. So what you will do, you will level the land in the second step. And also students, you will add manure in this land so that there is enough nutrient for the crop that you want to grow here. Okay, so this is the general preparation of soil, and let's understand about tillage. ठीक है, tillage I have told you, it is the sign in a scientific way when we are preparing the soil, it's known as tillage. It has been derived from an Anglo-Saxon word which is Telian or Tolian, which means to plow or prepare the soil for seed to sow. ठीक है, in order to raise crop, first we need to sow seed, right? And for that we need to prepare the soil first through which is tillage. ठीक है, so father of tillage is Jethro Tull. You have to learn this name. Jethro Tull is the father of tillage. And then we have a tilth. One term which is related to tillage is tilth. Tilth is what? It is the physical condition of soil obtained out of tillage. Means once you have done tillage, after that, what is the physical condition of soil? That is tilth of that field. That is called tilth. ठीक है, basically it is the outcome of tillage or result of tillage or the final condition of soil after we have done the tillage. So for that, tilth is used. Term tilth is used. Clear? Okay. Now, students, this tillage is of different types. Okay, and we need to understand what are these types of tillage. So again, it has been this tillage or types of tillage has been classified into different ways. First is based on time with respect to crop, right? So with respect to crop, when we are doing this tillage operation, we have preparatory cultivation and after cultivation. Okay. Then based on cropping season, we have on season and off season, and based on modern farming, conventional and conservation. So let us discuss them one by one in detail. Okay, first is based on time. So based on time with respect to crops. So students, whatever tillage operation you are doing before sowing the seed is preparatory cultivation. ठीक है? When a seed sow करने से पहले whatever tillage operation you are doing is preparatory cultivation. And after sowing seed, whatever tillage operation you are doing is known as after cultivation or after tillage cultivation operation. ठीक है? After cultivation tillage operation. ठीक है, so I have told you it's all about with respect to crop. Okay, so before sowing seed is known as preparatory cultivation, and it also have different steps. So first step is to do primary tillage operation. ठीक है, पहला step होगा to do primary tillage operation. In primary tillage operation, what is done? The hard compact soil is loosened. Hard compact soil is converted into clods. ठीक है, clods क्या है? It is the big masses of soil. ठीक है, so initially you will have hard land mass. Okay, you need to break this hard compact soil into clods. So initially in primary tillage operation, what will happen? The When you will do primary tillage operation, this hard compact soil will be converted into clods, right? So this is your primary tillage. This is your primary tillage operation. Then we need to further break down these clods, because you cannot sow seeds over these clods, right? These clods need to be further pulverized. These clods need to be further fined down, right? So what we do secondary tillage operation. In secondary tillage operation, basically these clods are converted into fine soil. ठीक है? Now these clods are converted into fine soil through secondary tillage operation. So primary में क्या हो रहा था? Primary में hard compact soil is converted into clods. After that, in secondary, clods are further converted into fine soil. Clear? So this is basically the preparatory cultivation, which is primary tillage followed by secondary tillage. Now students, after secondary tillage, once you have achieved fine soil bed, you need to lay out seed bed. Means आपके पास fine seed fine soil आ गई है field में. Now you have converted this clod into fine soil. So now you need to lay out where you want to sow the seed. Okay, you need to make a layout. You need to have a rough idea where you want to sow the seed. So for that you will prepare the layout of seed bed. Layout of seed bed is basically making a rough diagram over this particular field where you want to sow the seed. Okay, so that is the layout of seed bed, which is done after secondary tillage. Now students, along with the sometimes primary tillage can have different objective. Okay, sometimes primary tillage can be done for different objectives, like deep tillage can be done, like if you want to grow crop like cotton, and cotton is a deep root crop. ठीक है, deep root crop, it has roots extending to the deeper depth of the soil. So for that, what you need to do, you need to you need to till the soil to a deeper layer, because then only the cotton root will grow, right? Then only the cotton root will grow properly in that particular field. So deep tillage is basically when you are tilling the soil to the greater depth. Clear? As the name suggests, deep tillage. So when soil is tilled to the greater depth is known as deep tillage. Okay. Then we have subsoiling. Sometimes in soil, these hard compact layers are found. Okay. So like we have this soil. This is a field basically. Okay. This is the surface of field that you see. Now, when you go inside, or when you dig inside this soil, or you till inside this soil, sometimes there is a hard compact layer, ठीक है, which is known as hard pan. ठीक है, sometimes this hard compact layer or hard pan is found in the soil, and this is, again, what happens due to this hard pan, whatever water is going inside the soil, it will not it will not percolate inside the soil properly. Also, when the crop root will grow, it will be restricted by this hard pan. So what we need to do, we need to remove this hard pan. We need to break this hard pan. And for that purpose, a primary tillage, which is known as subsoiling, is done. So subsoiling is done to break hard pan. Okay, hard pan in soil. That you have to learn. Clear? And then we have another type of primary tillage, which is year-round tillage. So basically, in year-round tillage, students, after the harvesting of crop, you go for tillage operation because you want to keep your soil open for the rain. Basically, in dryland areas where there is a scanty rain, so you need to conserve this rain. If your soil will be sealed, packed, all the rain will be washed off. All the rain will be washed off due to runoff. So you need to open the soil. You need to keep the soil open so that whatever rain is entering into the soil can get percolate down into the soil and can be stored for the coming crop. Clear? So that is the year-round tillage. Okay. So I hope preparatory cultivation is clear to you all. Primary, secondary, and layout of the seed bed. Now let's see after cultivation. Okay. After cultivation with respect to crops. So students, see. Okay. So with after cultivation with respect to crop means once you have sown the seed and crop has grown. Okay, once you have sown the seed and crop has come out, after that you can go for thinning and gap filling. Okay. Now students, what is this thinning and gap filling? This is the field. You have for say broadcasted the seed. Okay, you have just broadcasted the seed. Okay, so there can be a scenario that in some part of the field, there is a high plant density, right? In this area, there is a high plant density because more amount of seeds or more number of seed has been scattered here. And in some area, you can see there is low plant density, right? So what we need to do here, we need to even out its plant density, because here if you see in this area, there will be more competition for the resources, right? In this area, more plant could have been accommodated. So we are, we are getting less yield from this area as compared to the, as compared to the optimum, if we have done the optimum plant density, if we have got the optimum plant density. So what is this thinning and gap filling? Basically, we will thin out. We will, once the You can see here, this is a coriander field basically. Thinning of coriander is done. So we will remove out extra plant from here. Okay, we will remove out extra plant for here from here, and we will fill the gaps here. We will fill the gaps here so that we get optimum plant density, so that we get the optimum plant density and each plant is getting enough space to grow and there is less competition. Okay? So this is the purpose of thinning and gap filling, and this is the meaning of thinning and gap filling. Okay? So basically, to optimize the plant density, the plants from the area where there is excess plant density is taken out, thinned out, and filled into the gaps where there is low plant density. Okay, so that's the purpose of thinning and gap filling. Now next we have is weeding and hoeing. What is weeding and hoeing? It is basically removing of weeds or unwanted plants, right? So when you manually do the removing of these weeds is called weeding, and with the help of any tool, if you are doing it, that is called as hoeing. Okay, that's the difference. Weeding and hoeing, again, interculture operation that is done after sowing of seed or crop. Because see, this is your field. You might have sown crop here, right, in this area. But the area in between these two crop plant can be utilized by other plants, which are the weed plants, they can grow here, right? So what we need to do, we need to remove out these weed plants. For that, weeding and hoeing is done. Okay. Okay, next is earthing up. What is this earthing up, students? Here, what we do, we put extra soil at the base of plant. Okay, you can see this is a potato plant, and here extra soil is put at the base of this potato plant. Now the purpose can be in earthing up, the purpose can be to provide support in case of like banana tree, or in case of papaya tree. Earthing up is done, or in sugar cane, earthing up is done to support the plant structure, right? The other purpose can be like in case of tuber crops, which is potato, cassava, or the tapioca. Okay, in case of the tuber crop, this earthing up help in developing the tuber better. Okay, so basically it help in better development of tubers. For that, earthing up is done. Clear? So this is the another uh, operation, interculture operation done after the sowing of seed, and it is known as earthing up. Okay, putting extra soil at the base of plant in order to either support the plant, or uh, in order to allow tuber to grow well. Okay, that is earthing up. Okay, next we have is based on, we have covered this particular classification, right? Preparatory cultivation and after cultivation. Next, we will see what is on-season and off-season tillage. So basically on-season tillage क्या होता है? Whatever tillage operation you are doing during the season, like you are in Kharif season, right? And you wanted to sow rice. So for sowing of rice, the tillage operation that you will do is basically you are doing on-season tillage. But sometimes off-season tillage is also done. That will be done after you harvest the rice. Okay, why it is done? Again, the problem is same in case of dryland areas. Okay, in case of dryland areas where water is less, so we till the soil, we open up the soil, okay? We open up the soil in the off season so that whatever rain that we receive during the off season can be stored into the soil, and that rainwater can be utilized for the coming crop. Clear? So this is the off season tillage. Okay, I hope this is easy to understand. Okay, next we have is based on modern farming, conventional and conservation tillage. Okay, so students, what is conventional tillage? Conventional tillage is basically where we are, where we are doing all kind of tillage operation. We are doing primary tillage, we are doing secondary tillage, and then we are doing after cultivation operations, and everything is done, right? That is conventional tillage. So students, क्या होता है कि हमारा जो field है, like this is the field, we sow seed at a particular place, right? हमारा जो seed sowing का place है वो fixed है कि we want to sow seed here. But what we do, what is a general practice, that we open up the entire land. We expose the entire land, right? You can see here, tilling is done in the entire land, irrespective of the fact where we want to sow the seed, right? So when we are exposing the entire field, it can lead to the soil erosion, it can lead to the soil erosion. Okay, it can deplete the soil moisture because entire land is exposed, so by evaporation all the soil moisture will be lost, right? It can lead to reduce in soil moisture. Also, it will disturb the soil biome. It will disturb the soil microbiome that is present here, because it will expose all microorganism that helps in, increasing the nutrient content in the soil, or helps in decomposing the organic matter in the soil. It is disturbing that. Also, students, due to repeated movement of this tillage implement over the soil, first we will move the tractor for doing primary tillage, then we will move the tractor for doing secondary tillage, and thereafter, if we want to level the field again, machine will go over the same field. What it does, it cause compaction. It can cause compaction, and your hard pans can be formed. Hard pan can form in the deeper layer of the soil, right? So these are all the limitation or disadvantages of your conventional tillage, right? So conventional tillage से ये problems आ सकती हैं. So that's why uh, scientists had developed another tillage method which is known as conservation tillage. Okay, alternative of conventional is conservation tillage. What is this conservation tillage? In this, we are just opening up the soil, or we are not basically exposing the entire land. Okay, not exposing entire soil. ठीक है? What we do, we just open up the land in the area where we want to sow the seed. Okay, rest land is kept undisturbed. So this is the conservation tillage. Why we are doing so? Because we need to conserve soil, we need to conserve moisture. ठीक है? So this is conservation tillage. Now conservation tillage has its different are of different types. डिफरेंट डिफरेंट तरीके से कंजर्वेशन टिलेज किया जा सकता है. फर्स्ट वी हैव इज zero tillage. What is zero tillage basically? So students, zero tillage is basically again another form of another type of conservation tillage. Here we will be doing no tillage. ठीक है? No tillage is done in case of zero tillage. That's why it's called zero tillage, or it is also called as no till. ठीक है? कोई भी टिलेज ऑपरेशन नहीं होगा. What we'll do, we'll just place the seed in the field, and just we will give the nutrients. We will do the nutrient application. Okay, just nutrient application is done in order to support seed or plant to grow, but tillage will not be done. Now the question arises कि मैम अगर हम tillage नहीं करेंगे तो what will happen? How the weeds and everything that is present on the field will be removed, right? होगा क्योंकि because आपने कोई crop harvest की है. After harvesting the crop, there will be a lot of stubble that will be present over that field, right? So how do we manage that stubble? So for that, students, what is done in zero tillage? We use weedicide or herbicide. Weedicides or herbicides, right? Some kind of herbicides. Herbicides are basically the chemicals that is used to kill herbs or plants or the unwanted plants in the field, right? So herbicide will be used. Initially, this land will be sprayed with the herbicide. After few days, all the vegetation that is found over this land will be killed. Okay. Now we will not remove the stubble or the dead plants over the field. Rather, we'll just place the seed. You can see here everything is kept likewise only, and the seeds are sown in the field. There is no tillage done, and only the nutrient application is done. Means only nutrient will be provided. So this type of tillage is known as zero tillage. This type of tillage is known as zero tillage, where we are not doing any kind of tillage operation. Then we have stubble mulch tillage. In case of stubble mulch tillage, again students, here we are opening the field where we want to place the seed, and we are keeping all kind of stubble on the field itself. Okay, we are not removing the stubbles, just opening the field where we want to sow the seed and remain keeping the stubble over the field. And this stubbles is basically kept here for mulch purpose. Okay, this stubble is acting as a mulch, covering the soil, saving the soil from erosion, and hence also conserving the soil moisture. Clear? Okay, another form of conservation tillage is rotary tillage. So basically, student, in case of rotary tillage, what happens? We are reducing the number of rotations of these implements over field. ठीक है, तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं कि नंबर ऑफ रोटेशंस जो हो रहे थे यूजुअल टिलेज में फील्ड के ऊपर, उसको कम कर रहे हैं. तो व्हाट वी हैव डन इन केस ऑफ रोटरी, वी हैव रिड्यूस्ड प्राइमरी प्लस सेकेंडरी टिलेज टू ओनली वन टिलेज ऑपरेशन. ठीक है, एक ही टिलेज ऑपरेशन में हम प्राइमरी और सेकेंडरी टिलेज कर रहे हैं, एंड वी आर नॉट अलाउिंग दिस machine to move over the field multiple times. Clear? So that is the rotary tillage. Then we have strip tillage. In case of strip tillage, again tillage is done, but only strips are opened. Strips are opened, and in these strips we grow crops. Clear? So this is the strip tillage, another form of conservation tillage. Now we have a special kind of tillage also. First, we have clean tillage. In case of clean tillage, we just, this is basically done in orchard or the big areas where we have grown fruit trees. In between fruit trees, what can happen? The stubbles from fruit trees can get collected over this place, over this empty land. And that stubble can harvest pest, disease, infections, and that can impact our main crop. So we need to clean the area in between the orchard, right? So for that, clean tillage is done where we are cleaning the area in between the fruit crops or in between the crops in general. Okay? In order to clean the area, clean tillage is done. Then we have a blind tillage. Blind tillage क्या होता है students? Blind tillage is basically you have sown the crop, okay? Crop has grown here, ठीक है? But over the crop you are doing the tillage. You can see here crop is still in the field, but over the crop this tillage is done. Why it is done? Sometimes you can see here this is a potato field, right? So here you can see you have given irrigation. The soil has become very hard. Now you need to lose this soil. You need to loosen up the soil. So for that you will do blind tillage. Or after the crop has grown, there are some weed that is growing in between the crop. Again, to remove those weeds, blind tillage is done. Okay. So that is the blind tillage, which is done over the crop, right? Over the growing crop. Then we have wet tillage or puddling. Very important. This is done in rice. ठीक है, बहुत स्पेसिफिकली ये राइस के लिए किया जाता है. आपके PYQs भी पूछे गए हैं यहाँ से. वेट टिलेज और पडलिंग क्या होता है स्टूडेंट्स? यू कैन सी हियर you have flooded the field. You have flooded the field. You have created a mud-like condition, and then you are going for tillage operation. This kind of tillage is known as wet tillage or puddling, and this is done in rice, and this is done with the help of machine which is known as puddler. ठीक है, puddler. This is done with the help of machine or implement known as puddler. Clear? So now, after the wet tillage is done, then your field will be prepared for rice transplanting. Okay, once the puddling is done, then the transplanting of rice will be done. Okay, so this is wet tillage or puddling, another type of special purpose tillage. Clear? So with that, we have completed your all types of tillage. Now, students, we were discussing about crop production, right? So there are factors which affect crop production. So there are some internal factors and there are some external factors. Okay? So before moving ahead, I just wanted to ask you if there is any doubt regarding tillage, any kind of tillage, please let me know. Yes, Divyanshi, this is a new batch, which is quick revision batch that we have started. Okay, so this is just one demo lecture that you're getting on YouTube. Okay, everyone in the Zoom session, please let me know. Is there any doubt, any confusion? Okay, stubble mulch tillage. देखो, SG, the purpose of stubble mulch tillage is to keep the stubble over the field. And why we are keeping the stubble over field so that that stubble can act as mulch. Okay, so over the stubble, you what you'll do, you will keep the stubble over field, and over the stubble you will do the tillage operation. Okay, you will just open the land where you want to sow the seed, and that stubble is kept over the land in order to protect the soil and in order to protect soil moisture. Okay, chalo, I think there is no query. We can proceed, right? We can proceed. So students, see, there are internal factors and external factors, right? Internal factors क्या होते हैं? Basically, internal factors are the factors that are controlled by the genetics or the hereditary factor, we can say, right? जो heredity या genetics या फिर जो gene पे या फिर जो genetic makeup, or we can say the factor that depend on genetic makeup of any particular plant, right? Those are internal factor. Then we have external factors which include climate. You might we have already discussed that how crop classification is done based on climate, and why that is done, because different crop require different climatic conditions, right? Then there are several edaphic factor, means factors that is dependent on soil. Okay, soil पे जो depend करते हैं. Then we have some biotic factor, physiographic and socioeconomic factor. Let us discuss them each one by one. So first we have climatic factor. So students, it's very important that whatever crop you are growing should get optimum temperature, right? So if you have any climatic conditions where you want to grow any particular crop, so that crop should be adapted to grow in that particular temperature. So optimum temperature should be there for growing any crop. So usually it average optimum temperature for all the crop is 15 to 40 degrees Celsius. So this is a temperature which on an average basis any crop can tolerate, right? The minimum temperature is also important, maximum temperature is also important. If the temperature goes beyond minimum maximum temperature, the crops will not survive, right? Then relative humidity is also important. It should be around 40 to 60% for, proper photosynthesis, proper transpiration. So relative humidity should be around, on an average, 40 to 60%. Then precipitation is what? Is this basically the rainfall, right? So rainfall, as precipitation or rainfall is the main source of water for the crop plant. Some crops that require high amount of rainfall can be grown in areas which receive a good amount of rain. But in desert condition, you cannot expect rice to grow because rice need more amount of water, right? Precipitation is another factor. Solar radiation, for photosynthesis, solar radiation is required, sunlight is required. Again, on that, the crop production will depend. Wind velocity, there should be optimum wind velocity. It should not be very high or very low, right? So average wind velocity should be 4 to 6 kilometer per hour. Okay. Also, student, atmospheric gases. I have told you already that CO2, which is present in atmosphere, is the source of carbon for photosynthesis for plant. Okay. So optimum amount of carbon dioxide, oxygen, and every gases should be present in atmosphere for proper crop production. Okay. So these are different climatic factors. Now, students, one thing that we have to understand or learn here is regarding photoperiodism. Okay. So I have told you on sunlight. Okay, crop production depends. Plants do photosynthesis, but there is some response of plant toward the period of sunlight. Okay, so that is known as photoperiodism. The term was coined by Gardner and Allard. So what is photoperiodism? Basically, students, how plants are responding to the duration of sunlight. Okay, see, sometimes we have 12 hour of sunlight, sometimes we have 12 hour of day length, sometimes we have less than 12 hour of day length, right? Or more than 12 hour of day length. So based on that, how plants are responding, and basically the response is flower initiation. Okay, ये याद रखना है कि basically it is flower initiation. ठीक है, तो डे लेंथ के बेसिस में फ्लावर इनिशिएशन का जो रिस्पॉन्स है किसी भी प्लांट में वो कैसा रहता है, दैट इज फोटो पीरियोडिज्म. ठीक है, based on photoperiodism we have short day plant, long day plant and day neutral plant. Okay, so students, if any plant required less than 12 hour for flower initiation will be short day plant. Okay, 12 घंटे से कम का टाइम पीरियड चाहिए फॉर फ्लावर इनिशिएशन, then such plant will be called as short day plants. So your kharif crops are basically short day plants because you are growing kharif seed during a long day, because you are growing kharif during June and July when the day length is long. But flower initiation will happen during winter, during October, November, or during September, October, where the day length is reduced, right? So that's why your Kharif crops are short day plants, Rabi crops are long day plants, and then there are few plants which are day neutral, which are not affected by day length. Okay, the plants which are unaffected by day length are day neutral. Long day plant kya hai? Which require more than 14 hours of daylight for flower initiation. Clear? So these are different types of plants based on photoperiodism, which is the response of plant toward the day length, toward the duration of sunlight. Okay. I hope it's clear. If there is any confusion, let me know. Okay, then we have edaphic factors. In edaphic factors, we have different kind of things like soil moisture, temperature, organism, mineral matter, soil organic matter, soil air, and soil pH. All these soil factors, edaphic factors, also impact your crop production. Okay, so कैसे करते हैं? Let us see. So students, soil moisture very important. Okay, plant need water for growth and development, and only source of water is soil. So soil में जितना water present होगा, that will be available for the plant, right? So soil moisture is a very important factor that impact crop growth and development. Now students, see what is the available soil moisture exactly. So whenever you irrigate the field, okay, you have given irrigation. Okay, whenever you irrigate the field, what happens basically? Initially, all soil pores, all soil pores. ठीक है, soil have pores, basically the space in between the soil particle. Soil इस तरीके से रहती है, right? These are soil particle, and the space in between soil particles are called soil pores, right? So when you give initial irrigation, all soil pores will be filled with water, right? Now there are two sizes of these pores. One is macro, which are bigger in size, and then we have micro, which are smaller in size, right? So after initial irrigation, all soil pores will be filled with water, right? So this condition is known as saturation. Saturation kya hai? Where all macro and micro pores are filled with water. Now after 2 to 3 days, what will happen? The pores of bigger size, okay, the pores of bigger size will drain faster due to gravity. Obviously, gravity act karegi. Due to gravity, water that is present in macro pores will drain faster, okay? And after 2 to 3 days, only water will be left in micro pores. And that situation is known as field capacity, okay? Now, students, the water which is available to the plant is actually the water which is present in micropores, or actually the water which is present at field capacity condition. Clear? So basically the range of available water that can be stored in soil and be able to for the growing plant is known as available soil moisture, and it is basically the soil moisture which is present at field capacity. Field capacity is basically moisture which is present in micropores. ठीक है, क्लियर? जो माइक्रोपोर्स में वाटर होगा, दैट इज एक्चुअल वाटर और अवेलेबल वाटर फॉर प्लांट ग्रोथ. Now, students, what will happen? Plant will start absorbing water from these micropores, and soon there will be a condition where water is exhausted from the micropores. This is known as wilting point. Okay, this is known as wilting point. Now, we have two type of wilting point condition, which is first is permanent wilting point, and then we have ultimate wilting point. Okay. In case of permanent wilting point, basically, here the plant will start showing wilting symptom. Okay. What is wilting? Plant will start losing the turgidity. It will fall. So, at this condition, if we give water again, so what will do? This plant will regain the turgidity. This plant will again stand and will live at permanent wilting point. ठीक है, इस पे क्या होगा कि अगर आप इस कंडीशन पे irrigation, again, you will give the irrigation, plant will survive, right? It will start absorbing water again and it will survive. But if you do not give irrigation at this point and this condition prolongs, then it will reach ultimate wilting point where plant will die, right? So these are different conditions in soil and different a situation that arises in soil after you irrigate the field, right? Now, students, so available water, basically, available water for plant is the water in between field capacity and permanent wilting point. ठीक है? तो permanent wilting point और field capacity के बीच में जो water होता है, that is the available water for the plant. Actual available water for the plant. Clear? So I hope it is clear to you all, and if there is any confusion, let me know in the chat section. Okay. So based on that, we have gravitational water. Gravitational water क्या होता है, students? This is free water. That water which we discussed ki, which is present in macropores. Okay. So it is not available for the plant. Okay. It drains faster within 2 to 3 days. So it is not available for the plant. And it is the water which is present in macropores. ठीक है, macropores. That is known as gravitational water. Then we have capillary water, water that is present in micropore, which is the actual available water for plant growth. ठीक है? Now, student, apart from gravitational water and capillary water, we have hygroscopic water. Now, once the capillary water is exhausted, there is some amount of water which is still present in soil. But this, again, this water is not available for plant, as this water is held tightly by the soil particle. Okay? So soil particle will also hold some amount of water molecule, and it will form, this soil particle will form a thin layer of water molecule around it. So this water is known as hygroscopic water, which is again not available for the plant. Clear? So these are three type of water which is present in soil, right? So water which is available for the plant is capillary water. You have to learn this. And it is the actual water which is present in the micropore and is available for the plant to grow. Clear? Okay, then we have soil mineral matter. So students, what is soil mineral matter? It is the mineral from which soil is made up of. Okay, we will be discussing this part in detail in the soil chapter also. But understand, soil is made up of three type of mineral matter, which is sand, silt, and clay. Okay, now based on what amount of these mineral matter is present in the soil, on that also your crop production will depend. Okay, if any soil have more of sand mineral matter, the soil will be less fertile. Okay, if any soil will have more clay mineral matter, again soil will be fertile, as clay particle hold more amount of nutrient. Okay, we'll discuss all this thing in detail in the soil wala chapter. Okay, so then we have soil, air. Now, students, in order to grow plant root, there should be optimum amount of air present. There should be optimum amount of space in soil, because see, plant root need to grow. They need plant root need space to grow. So and also plant root need to respire. Plant root को भी respiration करना है, right? So there should be optimum amount of air present in the soil for root growth and root respiration, right? So that overall the plant root can, absorb nutrient well, water well, and overall your plant growth can be increased. Clear? So I hope it is clear. Basically, optimum soil air होना चाहिए for proper growth, for proper root development of any crop. ठीक है? Then pH is there. Students, see, apart from soil, air, and soil mineral matter, soil pH is also very important. pH क्या है? pH is basically the measure of acidity and alkalinity in soil. Okay, how much acidic or alkaline any particular soil is. And as your nutrients are available in different pH, okay, you can see different nutrients are available at different pH range. So there should be optimum pH range in which all kind of nutrient can be present. So optimum pH ranges pH should be around 6.5 to 7.5. This is the optimum pH for any crop growth and development. In this pH range, most of the nutrients are present in available form in the soil, right? Okay. Next is biotic factor. So students, biotic factor includes your plants and animals that are there on the field, right? So some plants can compete with your main crop, affecting crop production. Some plant can help your crop to grow well, right? Increasing crop production. So some such kind of interaction is also there, which can impact crop production. Again, animals are there. Honeybee help in cross pollination, right? So with honeybee, the pollination is increased, overall production will increase. But there are some again insect nematodes and pests that can infect your crop plant and reduce the crop production. So that is how all these biotic factor impact crop production in general, right? Then physiographic factor, so basically topography, altitude, steepness of the slope, and exposure of the light. All these factor also crop production depends. Like what is the topography of that particular area where you're growing that crop, right? Altitude, what is the height of that area from the mean sea level where you are growing the crop, right? Again, slope and the exposure of wind and light, on that also the crop production will depend, right? Then next with this we have completed your external factors. Then we have internal factors. I have already told you internal factors are basically the genetic factors that are dependent on genetics. Now, students, there are two variety of rice. Like rice, ke liye we have two variety A and variety B, right? So variety A is basically resistant to for say uh, for any insect X, है ना? But variety B is susceptible. It is not resistant to this particular insect, right? So why this is happening? These both are the variety of rice, right? दोनों ही rice है, but still ऐसा क्यों है कि ये resistant है, ये resistant नहीं है? This is because due to the genetic makeup of variety A. Genetic makeup of variety A is such that it can resist the resist the disease X, and variety B genetic makeup is such that it cannot resist the disease X, right? So this is the genetic makeup again, on which the crop production depends. So basically high yielding ability, early maturing, resistant to lodging, salinity tolerant, drought tolerant, tolerance to insect pests. ठीक है, chemical composition, oil content. Some variety will have good oil content, some will have less oil content. Again, that depends on the genetic makeup of that variety, right? One example is like Pokali variety of rice. Okay, this is salinity tolerant. This can tolerate saline water condition also, right? So this is due to the genetic makeup of this Pokali variety of paddy, which is not found in the general variety of paddy. Clear? So this is how your external and internal factor affect crop production. Okay. नाउ इस फैक्टर, ये जो फैक्टर्स है यहाँ से क्वेश्चंस नहीं पूछे जाते हैं आपके एग्जामिनेशन में, ठीक है? तो चैप्टर 2 में यू नीड टू लर्न क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ क्रॉप्स, एग्जांपल्स एंड द टिलेज दैट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट क्योंकि वहीं से ही योर क्वेश्चंस आर आस्क्ड इन योर एग्जामिनेशन, ठीक है? सो लेट्स सॉल्व सम क्वेश्चंस एंड देन we'll take a break. Okay, so one more topic is there, which is weeds. So students, in 2024 there was one question asked from this particular topic. That's why we need to cover it. Okay. So weeds kya hai? We have discussed so far that they are unwanted and harmful plants that are present over field, and we need to remove it, right? We need to manage them. So you know how we will manage them? When we know what actually these weeds are, how their nature is. Okay. So based on their lifespan, these weeds have been divided into again annual, biennial and perennial. राइट, जैसे कि हमारी क्रॉप्स प्लांट को डिवाइड किया गया था एनुअल, बाइनियल, पेरिनियल में. नाउ अगेन स्टूडेंट, एनुअल अगेन कंप्लीट लाइफ साइकिल इन 1 season, बाइनियल कंप्लीट लाइफ साइकिल इन 2 years, इन पेरिनियल टेक मोर देन 2 years. ठीक है? नाउ यू डोंट नीड टू रीड और लर्न दिस एग्जाम्पल because then it will be very vast to cover for you, right? Just learn the examples of crop, that will be more than sufficient, right? And right now only one question have been asked from this particular topic, so there might be chances that they will ask no further question from this topic, or it might come again, right? So just understand this classification. Like wetland weeds kya hoti hai? Found in weeds which are found in semi aquatic land areas, right? Garden land weeds, again from the name itself, it is understood ki weeds which are found in garden areas. Then dryland weeds, weeds that are found in dryland areas. Clear? Then again, crop weeds of cropland, weeds of pasture land, weeds of wasteland, weeds of playground and roadside, based on the area where they are found. A particular weed is found. Based on that, the name has been given. The classification is done, right? Then we have student based on origin, indigenous and exotic, right? It is important. The indigenous weed is basically a weed which is originally found in our country, right? And exotic is something which was not originally found in our country, but as we imported some kind of seed material from foreign country, and along with that seed material, some foreign weed is introduced in our country, right? That is called exotic weed. So you might have heard about the Congress grass or the Parthenium. That is the exotic weed of our country, right? Which was not originally found in India, but was introduced from any other country. Okay? So I hope it's clear. Then again, based on cotyledon, like in we have in crop, we have monocot weed and dicot weed. Okay? Then based on soil pH, so we have acidophile weed, which grow in acidic environment, basophile weed, which grow in basic environment, and neutrophile, which grow in neutral environment. Clear? Then we have based on morphology. So students, we have grasses. So weeds that comes under grass family or Poaceae family are grasses weed, right? Then we have another group here, which is sedges. Now these weeds has been modified. Here you will not find any stem. Leaves have been modified into stems. Okay, you can see there is no leaf. There is no differentiation of leaves and stem. The leaves have been modified into stems, okay? And they belong to the family Cyperaceae. Clear? Then we have broadleaf weeds. Broadleaf weeds, again, all other weeds, dicotyledon weeds or broadleaf weeds or weeds other than grasses and sedges belong to broadleaf weed category. Clear? Okay. Then we have this is important because from here your question was asked in your examination, right? So student, poisonous weeds kya hoti hai? Sometimes there are some weed plant on which if livestock feeds, that can cause death or great loss to the livestock, right? So such weeds will be called poisonous weeds. Then we have parasitic weeds. Parasitic weeds basically weeds or weed plant that parasitize any other plant. Okay, any host plant. They do not make their own food. Rather, they parasitize other plant and take nutrition from them. Right. That is called parasitic weed. Right. Then next we have is a floating weed. Floating weed is was basically this weed float on water surface. Okay. So in floating weed, what happens? The weed, this is a weed plant. Okay, it floats over the water surface, right? The roots and leaves will float over the water surface. Then we have immersed weed. So students, immersed weed kya hoti hai basically? Immersed weed, the roots will arise from the bottom of the water body and leaf part will come out from the water surface. Okay, this is the immersed weed. Okay, then we have submerged weed. Submerged weed, basically this is a water surface. Okay, submerged weed is basically all part of a weed will be submerged in the water surface, like roots and leaf part is submerged below the water surface. This is submerged. Submerged means completely डूबी हुई weed. Emerged means which has emerged out of the water surface. Some part has emerged out of the water surface, and floating is basically which is floating on water surface, right? Then we have marginal weed. So students, some weeds are found in coastline or shoreline. Like this is a water body and along the shoreline you will find some weeds that are growing. Such are called marginal weeds. Okay. Okay, so there are some important example of parasitic weeds. So student, they can be asked in your examination. तो इतना आप at least इसको याद कर लीजिए, ठीक है? This at least you have to learn. Cuscuta is total stem parasite. Striga is partial root parasite. Aureobrancha is total root parasite, and Loranthus is partial stem parasite. ये examples are important. They have been asked in multiple agriculture related examinations, so that's why I have kept it here. So you can just take a screenshot here or you can just learn this later on, right? Now students, in seeds, in wheat seed, there is a dormancy also. Now, how do these wheat seed persist for so long duration of time? See, if you will keep one uh, rice seed and one wheat seed, the life the wheat seed will have more tendency to survive in adverse climatic condition than the right seed. Why this happened? Because these wheat seeds have some kind of mechanism that they can, survive that dormancy period. What is dormancy period? Basically, it is the resting period of seed where the seed will not germinate. Okay? So there is basically a resting period of seed where the seed do not germinate is known as dormancy period. ठीक है, so there is enforced dormancy, innate dormancy and induced dormancy that is seen in weed seeds. ठीक है, what is enforced? Enforced is basically sometimes due to tillage you have placed these weed seed deep inside to the soil, right? Now that dormancy has been enforced there. डीप प्लेसमेंट की वजह से क्या हो गया है, अब वो सीड्स जो है वीट सीड्स हैं, दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू ग्रो. So when they will come back to the surface again, then they will grow, right? So this is enforced dormancy. Then innate dormancy is the genetic dormancy, means जो genetically एक wheat seed की dormancy है कि like this wheat seed need 5 months dormancy period to grow. Now once that seed is produced, so it will take 5 months in order to grow, in order to break the dormancy and grow again. So that is innate dormancy. And induced dormancy is basically which is induced due to changes in any environmental condition. Okay, so sometimes there is any changes in environmental condition that has induced the dormancy in the wheat seed, which is known as induced dormancy. Clear? So these are different types of dormancy seen in the wheat seeds. Okay, just remember what is enforced, innate and induced dormancy. What is the meaning? That's it. Okay, so with that we have covered your chapter 2. Now I want all of you to please answer these questions. Again, these are your PYQs. Okay. First is, which among the following is cultivated to conserve soil moisture? What will be the answer? Quickly give me the answer. Okay, very good. It will be mulch crop, right? Very good. Next, which of the following is not a cereal based on economic use? Okay, very good. Because rest are cereal, red gram is pulses. Very good. Next question, which among the following is mainly used to reduce soil strength and cover plant material? We have discussed this in tillage topic, right? Okay, it's a primary tillage. Okay. In which form of tillage is the soil left undisturbed from harvest and planting except for nutrient injection? Okay, this is the type of conservation tillage that is asked to you, and I have already discussed this with you. Very good. I can see right answers. Very good. It's zero tillage, right? Okay. Which of the following is a rabi crop? Okay. So this is the question asked to you. Which of the following is a rabi crop? Okay, answer will be both A and C. Good. Very good. Which of the following is the only genetically modified crop approved by for commercial cultivation by Government of India? Okay. So we haven't discussed this, but still, if you know the answer, let me know. Okay, it will be BT cotton. So students, I'll discuss about this GMO in the coming slide. Okay. Uh, GMOs are what? Basically, genetically modified organisms are the crops or organism where we have modified the genes. Okay. So I'll discuss this in the coming slide. Okay. So right now, just understand only genetically modified crop that is approved by Government of India is BT cotton. Next question. The physiological reaction of organism to the length of night or dark period is called. Okay, it is photoperiodism. Very good. Next question for you. Dash is used for churning the soil with standing water while preparing field for paddy transplantation. Very good. It is puddler. Next question. Which of the following is the objective of puddling in rice? Very good. It will be all of the above. ठीक है? What is scientific name of barley? ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. देखो स्टूडेंट्स, from the scientific name also questions are asked in your examination. So what you need to do, you need to go through your summary sheet. There are crops given, and alongside with the crops, scientific names are given in bracket. Okay. So for important crop like rice, wheat, barley, maize, some pulses, important pulses that you often hear. Okay. For that, you can start learning the scientific names, right? So right for this question, answer will be Hordeum vulgare. So barley का जो scientific name है, that is Hordeum vulgare. Oryza sativa is the scientific name of rice. Okay. Triticum aestivum is the scientific name of wheat. Zea maize is the scientific name of maize. ठीक है. Sorghum bicolor is the scientific name of sorghum. तो इस तरीके से you need to learn scientific name of important crops. Okay, important, most important cereal crops, likewise pulses crop, few important fruit crop, flower crop, uh, such likewise you need to learn few scientific name. Now, if you cannot learn, I do not advise you for learning all the scientific name of all the crops, because देखो एक ही नंबर का क्वेश्चन आना है, ठीक है? And this crop can be any. If you learn just important crops and अगर उसी important crop से क्वेश्चन आ गया, then well and good. Otherwise, you do not please invest much of your time for this 1 mark question. Okay, so that's the thing. No, no, no need to remember variety. No need to remember variety. Take care of any crop. Okay. With this, we have completed your chapter 2. I hope I was able to, cover all the thing clearly and you have understood it. If there is any doubt, any confusion, please, you can ask me. Right now, we'll take 5 minutes break, okay, and then we'll resume the class. So you all can, just take a break and you can just go through things that we have discussed so far. If there is any question, you can drop your query in the chat section. So if you want break, please give me thumbs up so that I can understand everybody agrees to this and we can do the same. So guys, you need to tell me, shall we take break or shall I continue? Okay. Okay. Okay, class. So we'll resume and we'll continue further. Okay. So please give me thumbs up if you all are present in the class and I can start then. Okay. So Dev and Sunil, yes, you can right now at this particular point in time where we have less days left for the examination, you can just, cover everything through your summary sheet along with the classes. And please do practice quiz and give full length mock test. And that will be more than sufficient right now because you do not have much time left to cover each and everything in detail, right? And right now, it's not wise thing to do to refer to any other book. Okay, so just summary sheet and online classes will be sufficient for now. Just cover them thoroughly, whatever is being taught, cover it everything from the summary sheet and try to practice quiz as well, right? Okay, so I'll start. I think everybody is back, right? Okay. So next chapter that we have to cover is farming system. So students, this is chapter number 3. Okay, farming system. We have discussed till now about agronomy and field crop. So let's see what is this farming system. Now, students, whatever all enterprises that we have in agriculture, be it the crop production, livestock rearing, poultry, piggery, fishery, right? So when we combine all these enterprises in such a way that the resources are utilized or the waste of one enterprise become resource to another enterprise, and we have to less dependent on the other or the outside source, that is known as the farming system, right? That is known as farming system. It is basically the appropriate mix of farm enterprises, right? Like for say we have different farm enterprise. First one is crop production, another is livestock rearing. These two farm enterprises we have in this farm, right? So what we can do, we can use the raw material or the we can use the stubbles or the waste of this crop production enterprises to feed livestock, right? And whatever waste material is being generated from the livestock can be used to add manure and compost or fertilizer to this crop production enterprises. So this is basically a farming system where we have appropriately mixed two farm enterprises in such a way that we need to raise profitability, in such a way that we are now less dependent on other outside source, or we need to spend less for purchasing these inputs. Rather, what we are doing, we are managing everything within the farm. Okay, so this is the farming system. This is the meaning of farming system. Next we have is different types of farming system. Now students, there are three major types of farming system we can say. First is traditional. In traditional farming system, whatever farming techniques that we use are of traditional or of ancient time, right? Of are of that is followed from the ancient times, right? So here no modern tools and techniques are used. In commercial, all the modern tools, techniques, and practices of doing farming are used. And semi-commercial lies between traditional and commercial, where we use traditional knowledge as well as the modern tech tools and techniques of doing farming. That is your semi-commercial farming system. Now, students, under this traditional farming system, we will learn about subsistence, shifting, and nomadic herding. Okay, these are the types of traditional farming system that is done. Then semi-commercial may we will understand cropping system and mixed system, right? And commercial may there is perennial crops and livestock which can be grown in the commercial system, right? So let us discuss them one by one. So in traditional farming system, first we have is subsistence farming system. Subsistence farming system is basically to meet the demand of family. Okay. So whenever any farming system is done by a farmer just to meet the demand of his family is known as subsistence farming system, or just to meet the requirement of family is subsistence farming system, right? Then we have nomadic herding. What is nomadic herding? In case of nomadic herding, students, the farmers they do not have any permanent residence, right? They move from one place to another place in search of green grass, fodder, or pasture along with their livestock, and they settle over a place for some period of time. and after that they go back to the another place, they go back to the place from there where they have came, or to they move ahead for finding some new place, right? So that is known as nomadic herding, where these people do not have any permanent residence. They just move from one place to another place along with their livestock in search of green grass and pastures. Okay. Then we have another traditional system which is known as shifting cultivation. So basically, students, it is called shifting cultivation, and also it is called as slash and burn agriculture. Okay, what is done in shifting agriculture, shifting cultivation? Basically, a forest land is cleared. A forest land is cleared. All kind of vegetation over this forest land is cleared and burned. That's why it's called slash and burn. Okay. Then this forest land is cultivated for few years, for 5 to 6 years. Like for say, you are growing rice over this piece of land, and what will happen, you are only just growing one crop year after year. Soil fertility of this land will degrade, right? So this is land number one. So this land soil is cultivated for 5 6 years. Now fertility has gone down, so you will move to the another place, you will move to the another place, you will clear that land again, you will start growing crop here for next 5 to 6 years. Okay, once again this land too which you have cleared, there also the fertility has gone down and you have abandoned this land. So what will happen, that time which at time which you, when you are growing crop at this particular land, at that particular time the fertility of this particular land will be restored. Okay, and after 5 to 6 years again you will move back to this particular land, right? So this is shifting cultivation, you are shifting from one land to another land, and as you're cutting down all vegetation and grasses, that's why it's called slash and burn agriculture also, right? In northeastern India it was followed, and in Assam it's also known as zoom cultivation. Okay, so these are different terminologies given to this, can be asked in your examination. Okay, moving to the next, semi-commercial system. So in student semi-commercial में, we have cropping system and mixed system. Cropping system is basically where we are growing two or more crops together, right? In a system that is called cropping system. And mixed system is basically growing crops along with rearing of livestock. Okay, you have mixed two system together. That is mixed system. Okay. So these are types of semi-commercial system wherein you are using some kind of traditional knowledge as well as you are applying modern tools and techniques of growing agriculture or doing farming, right? Chalo. Next we have is commercial farming system. I have told you in case of commercial farming system, all kind of modern tools and techniques or all kind of modern ways of doing farming is adopted as it is done for the commercial purpose, because our ultimate aim is to increase the return from the land, right? Example can be ranching. So ranching is what a large area is dedicated for rearing the livestock, right? So you can see in the picture also that a large area is there for rearing the livestock. Okay? So this is done again for the commercial purpose where you are rearing hundreds of livestock together. Okay? That is ranching, again example of commercial farming system. Next we have is agroforestry. So sometimes what farmer can do again for the commercial purpose, for for increasing the return from the land, along with the agriculture crop they can grow some forest crop, right? So forest crop is grown along with the agriculture crop. So you can see in the picture also here, these forest trees are growing. In between these forest trees we have grown agriculture crop. So after 6 to 7 years these trees will mature, and after 6 2 years farmer will get return from this forestries as well along with the agriculture crop, right? So this is again a commercial farming system done for the commercial purpose. Okay, it's basically the example of commercial farming system. Okay, now the next we have types of farming system that are followed in India. So students, I have already discussed with you what is subsistence farming system, right? Subsistence is just to meet the demand of family. Then we have conventional farming system. Conventional farming system is again where we are using all kind of chemicals. We are using all kind of conventional method of doing farming system. We'll discuss that in detail. Then there is alternative farming system. स्पेशलाइज्ड फार्मिंग सिस्टम एंड इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम, ठीक है। अल्टरनेटिव फार्मिंग सिस्टम इज ऑफ अगेन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टाइप्स. इट इज ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग सिस्टम, एग्रो इकोलॉजिकल, बायोडायनामिक, बायोइंटेंसिव, पर्माकल्चर एंड नेचुरल फार्मिंग सिस्टम. So let's understand them one by one. फर्स्ट वी हैव इज कन्वेंशनल फार्मिंग सिस्टम, ठीक है। अब कन्वेंशनल फार्मिंग सिस्टम क्या होता है स्टूडेंट्स की? कन्वेंशनल में इट इज ऑल्सो नोन एज इंडस्ट्रियल एग्रीकल्चर, ठीक है। कन्वेंशनल फार्मिंग सिस्टम बेसिकली मीन्स कि वेयर यू आर यूजिंग ऑल काइंड ऑफ कन्वेंशनल मेथड ऑफ फार्मिंग, बी इट यूजिंग द सिंथेटिक केमिकल और फर्टिलाइजर, pesticides, herbicides, be it using the GMOs. Okay, now let's discuss about these GMOs. Okay, so what are these GMOs? GMOs are genetically modified organism. Okay, so at gene level, we have manipulated these organisms in such a way that they have been modified for some purpose. Right? अब इसका example हमने देखा था BT cotton. Right? BT cotton was the example. What has happened in this BT cotton? Basically, earlier the variety of cotton was susceptible to a pest which is known as pink bollworm. Pink bollworm. ठीक है, इसलिए susceptible था. Now, this cotton gene was manipulated and one gene of BT. BT is basically a gene of Bacillus thuringiensis, which is a bacteria. It is a bacterial gene which was incorporated in with the gene of cotton. And now the new cotton that we have is BT cotton. And this BT cotton became resistant to this pink bollworm. This pink bollworm cannot affect the BT cotton, right? So this is the basically the story of BT cotton, and this is the only crop which has got approval from the government for the commercial production. Clear? So this is conventional farming where you are using all kind of things and you are not taking care of environment. You are not concerned about environment, what impact it can cause to the environment, right? So that is conventional farming system. Now, students, you can see that this conventional farming system can have huge impact on the environment. So for that, for reducing those impact, alternative farming systems are developed, right? What are these alternative farming systems? Herein, we are concerned about nature. Herein, we are concerned about the health of soil, about the health of nature, about the health of environment, right? So under this, we have again different types of alternative farming system. First is organic farming system. Organic farming क्या होता है? Basically, here aim is to raise crop in such a way that we need to keep soil alive. Okay, we are concerned about the health of soil. We don't want to deteriorate the soil health, right? So हम क्या करेंगे? We will be using all kind of natural source of nutrient for the crop. We will not use any kind of chemical first of all, right? We will use all the resources that are naturally available to us, right? So that is the organic farming. Next we have is agroecological farming. In case of agroecological, basically students, what is done? It combines local and scientific knowledge. ठीक है? Like you are in a certain region and there's some kind of local practice is done for growing any crop. ठीक है? So what you have done, you have utilized that local knowledge along with you have applied some kind of scientific knowledge in such a way that whatever scientific technique you are using, that is not impacting any interaction between that is not hampering any ecological interaction, right? So basically you are taking care of environment. Okay, you are combining the local knowledge and scientific knowledge and then doing the agriculture, taking care of all the ecological interactions in the mind. So that is agroecological farming, right? Then we have biodynamic farming. Biodynamic, basically, students, this is, again, the type of alternative farming system are not that much important. Okay, for your exam point of view, just organic farming system is the most important topic that we will be discussing in detail also. So biodynamic में क्या होता है basically students? Here this is the spiritual and mystical perspective. Here what is said that whenever if we do a particular farming operation at a particular time, like when the stars align in particular direction and then we apply some kind of mixture to this plant, then that will help in increasing the yield. So basically it is a philosophical way of farming. ठीक है, it is a philosophical way of farming. Then we have bio-intensive. In case of bio-intensive students, here we what we do farming system while supporting the nutrient cycle that is there in nature. Okay, whatever nutrient cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, okay, sulfur cycle. So we are doing agriculture in such a way that nutrient cycles are supported. Also, whatever pest we are managing, they that is managed in integrated way. Means we are not just relying on only one method of pest management. We are doing some cultural activities also to manage pest. We are doing some mechanical activities. We are doing some chemical activities. So all kind of management activities are integrated to manage the pest. Okay, so that is called integrated pest management. Again, not important. You can skip these things. Okay. Natural farming and permaculture are important. What is natural farming? Basically, natural farming is a practice where what you do not uh, apply anything. You do like in organic farming, आप क्या करते हो? आप at least organic manure you add, right? But in natural farming, you do not add anything. Natural farming says whatever nature gave you, you receive it, you accept it. ठीक है? Like you are doing organic farming, right? You have added some kind of manure and everything. You are getting 10 quintals of yield. But if the same crop you grow as a natural farming, you will get only 5 quintal of yield because again, you are not managing weeds, you are not managing anything. Naturally, whatever you are receiving from the nature, you are accepting it. That is natural farming, right? Next we have is permaculture. Permaculture क्या होता है? Basically, perma means permanent. You are making some kind of permanent system. Okay, so all kind of a system is developed which is self-sustaining and is permanent, right? So you can see here in this area there is a water reservoir for meeting the demand of water. Okay, there is a crop production area, there is a livestock rearing area, there is a poly house and everything. So this becomes a self-sustaining system and hence it is called permaculture, means permanent culture. Okay, so all these things, just you need to know what is the meaning of these things. Okay, then we have specialized farming system. Okay, apart from the farming system that we have discussed so far, students, specialized farming system क्या होता है? इसमें जो farmers हैं, they are specialized for rearing or for raising any particular crop or for doing any particular agriculture activities, like right? जैसे कि sugarcane farmers है, you might have seen sugarcane farmers only grow sugarcane. Why they do? Because they have become specialized in growing sugarcane. ठीक है, they can take other crops as well. It's not like that sugarcane farmer is only growing sugarcane. They can take two or more crops, but more than 50% of return from that farm is from the sugarcane. Okay, as that farmer is specialized in growing sugarcane. So that type of farming system is known as specialized farming system. Clear? Okay, next we have integrated farming system. Now, students, what is integrated farming system again? In integrated farming system, all the enterprises are integrated. Okay, and the only objective of integrating all these enterprises are that we need to minimize the negative effect to the environment. Okay, whatever the negative impact these enterprises can have on environment, we need to minimize it. Okay, so that is integrated farming system. So definition says it is interdependent, interrelated, often interlocking production system based on few crops, animal and related subsidiary enterprises. Okay? For maximum utilization of nutrients of each system and minimize negative effect of these enterprises on environment. Clear? So this is basically the integrated farming system. Clear? So examples of integrated farming system is like you can integrate agriculture plus livestock, integrate livestock together. Okay, you can integrate agriculture, livestock, poultry together. Your different enterprises can be integrated together, and we can go for integrated farming system. Clear? So any confusion till now, please let me know. If there is any confusion, any doubt till now regarding any kind of farming system, please let me know. Next, we'll start with then organic farming. Everything is clear? Uh, Everybody, please show me the thumbs up so that I can proceed. ओके इतना क्लियर है अगर if you feel like that the class is going a bit fast forward, please let me know. But we need to do this because see, we have only a limited time, right? We have only limited time and we need to cover 4 chapters. Already it's 10:44 and I need to cover your chapter 3 as well as chapter 4. So we need to, go with this pace. Otherwise, we'll not be able to complete everything. Okay, 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 that's great. So coming back to the organic farming, right? So we'll discuss organic farming system in detail. So students, organic farming system kya hai? Again, it is growing crop in such a way that we need to keep the soil health alive. We need to consider the soil health, right? Just give me a second. Okay, we need to consider soil health. Okay. So that is the organic farming system, right? So here, students, in organic farming system, the objective is that we need to produce food of high nutritional quality, right? We need to work with the nature system, natural system. We have to also ensure the soil fertility and we need to increase the soil fertility, right? Then whatever produce that farmer is growing from the organic, it should provide satisfaction because you might know that organic farming, the price of organic produces are more than the conventionally produced products, right? So use of renewable resources, use of wide social and economic impact, and avoid pollution. So these all are objective of your uh, organic farming system, right? Now main important चीज ये है कि what are the components of organic farming. ठीक है, तो इन components को पढ़ लेते हैं फटाफट से. So first we have is crop rotation, composting, manure, waste management, biofertilizer, biopesticide, and vermicomposting. First is crop rotation, right? So crop rotation kya hai, students? When we are rotating crops on field, in a particular sequence, in a particular pattern, in such a way that we are including pulses or any nitrogen-rich crop, and we are maintaining the soil fertility. See, whenever you are doing organic farming, you need to make sure that soil fertility is not deteriorated, right? So crop rotation can be applied like in organic farming also. If you're growing crops, so you can rotate the crops so that soil fertility is not degraded, it is restored. So you can use the crop rotation like rice, pulse, and wheat, wherein you have incorporated pulses, and these pulses, what they will do, they will help in restoring the soil fertility, right? Yes. Next we have is organic manure. So what is an organic manure? In agriculture, you will not use any kind of chemical fertilizer. So what you need to do then? You need to add organic manure, right? So manures are plants and animal waste that are source of plant nutrients, right? So they can be used. Now we have two type of manures, naturally occurring and synthetic chemicals. Synthetic chemicals are called fertilizers. They are not used in organic farming. Rather than naturally occurring manure, which can be a green manure or cow dung or compost, vermicompost, these can be used. Clear? Then we have waste management. So students, see, whatever waste that is generated on farm should also be managed. For that, biogas plant can be set up in the farm, and whatever waste is generated in the farm can be put inside this biogas plant for the production of biogas, right? So this is how waste is managed in organic farming. देखो जितना waste develop हो रहा है, again we cannot just burn the stubble because that causes pollution, right? We need to take care of environment. So what we'll do, we will try to manage this waste by decomposing it in biogas plant. Then biofertilizers are used. Now I have told you we will use naturally available resources. So one thing is manures and compost. Other thing is biofertilizer. What are these biofertilizer, students? Bio means living, right? Bio means living. So basically, these are living microorganisms that have ability to increase the nutrient content or provide nutrient to the root of plants. Okay, or what they do, they increase the amount of nutrient around the root or plant root, so plant root can get sufficient nutrients for growth, right? So these are microorganisms. So what is done, basically these microorganisms are identified. Okay, they are identified by the scientist, and once the scientists find out कि, okay, this particular microorganism is helping in increasing the nutrient content in soil, and it can be added as biofertilizer, so that is multiplied. That microorganism is multiplied in the lab and then is added to the field. Okay. So such organisms are called biofertilizers. And azotobacter is the example of a biofertilizer. Then similarly, we have biopesticides. These are again living microorganisms, okay, that can be used to kill any kind of pest, disease, or any bacteria. That is called biopesticides. Okay? Bacillus thuringiensis is the answer. Basically, this is not a chemical. These are the living microorganism that is sprayed in the field for the purpose of killing these pests and disease. Okay? Next is vermicompost. What is vermicompost, students? Vermicompost is basically we when you are making compost with the help of worms, ठीक है, especially the earthworms. तो earthworm की help से आप क्या कर रहे हो, compost बना रहे हो. So earthworm will eat the compost and decompose that compost, and the quality of compost will be enriched. Okay, you will get an enriched quality of compost. So such compost is known as vermicompost. There is one more term associated with vermicompost is vermiprotein. So students, when you allow these worms to grow over this compost, okay, for the decomposition purpose, what can happen after some times the population of this earthworm can increase, right? There can be more number of earthworms. So what you can do, you can utilize this extra um, earthworms as a vermiprotein in your poultry. They can be used as a feed for your poultry, right? So that is the meaning of vermiprotein. Clear? Okay. Now, students, once we have grown agriculture produce, so how to market these agriculture produce, right? So they are marketed under any organic tags. So if any farmer, first of all, if any farmer want to uh, grow or sell their produce as an organic produce. So what is done, that so for that that farmer need to go for certification. Okay, farmer need to have some kind of certification, and after that only the farmer can sell the produce under organic tag. So there are two systems. One is participatory guarantee system, another is national program for organic production. Okay, these two systems are there. Either of these system, a farmer can get the certificate from either of these two system, and after receiving the certificate, farmer can sell the produce as under the tag organic. Okay, so that is about the marketing of agriculture produce. And also one more thing, students, there is a conversion period required. Okay, so farmer at least need to keep the land fallow for 2 to 3 years, ठीक है, which is known as conversion period, if the farmer want to convert the land from the conventional to organic land. Clear? So this is how the farmer get the certification. So first farmer uh, you know go to the certification agency. Then the certification agency will do some kind of inspection. They will see the crops that are grown previously over that piece of land, the fertilizers and chemical used. They will suggest a conversion period to the farmer. For that conversion period, farmer will not grow any crop on the field, or if they grow, if grown, there will be no use of any chemicals, right? Then after that conversion period, again the inspection will be there, and then the farmer will receive the organic certificate either by PGS or either by NPOP, and then the farmer can sell the produce under the organic tag. Okay? So this is about the marketing of these organic produce. Okay, next topic that we need to cover is farming system, a modern farming system. Okay, so what is this modern farming system, students? Modern farming system basically means where we are using all kind of modern technology and practices of science to increase agriculture output, right? So all kind of modern techniques and practices are used advanced, you can say advanced modern techniques and practices are used for growing crops, right? So there are different types of modern farming system. So first we have is vertical farming system. Vertical farming system क्या होता है? Basically where we are growing crops in vertical stacks, ठीक है? So in urban area where land is scarce, where there is limited amount of land, so in a very small area, crop production can be increased by growing the crop in vertical stacks. ठीक है, वर्टिकल स्टैक्स बना के उनमें क्रॉप ग्रो कर सकते हैं. Now, vertical farming have different variant like aeroponics, hydroponics, aquaponics, right? We'll discuss them in detail. Another is precision farming and tissue culture system. Okay. So I have told you again, what is vertical farming system? It is growing crops in vertically stacked layers. You can see in the picture also the vertical stacks are made and over this crops are growing, right? So this is completely done under controlled environment. So students, you cannot do vertical farming in open environment. So this is done in a controlled environment, in closed environment. ठीक है. अब different variant was first hydroponics. So what is this hydroponic system? Basically, it is the technique of growing plant using water-based nutrient solution rather than soil. So what is done here? We are not using soil for plant root support. What we are doing? We have just, made a nutrient solution. ठीक है? We have made a nutrient solution. We have added nutrient with the water, made a solution, and then this solution is allowed to pass through the plant root. Okay, plant root के through हम इसको pass करेंगे, and then plant root will absorb the water and nutrient from the solution. ठीक है, and then it will grow. So this is known as hydroponics. This technique is known as hydroponics. It is also known as soil-less, क्योंकि here we are not using soil for root support, rather we are using any other kind of material like cocopeat, perlite, vermiculite, right? Then we have aeroponics. Aeroponics क्या होता है students? यहाँ पे directly we are not supplying water, rather we are making a mist condition. जो भी solution था उसको we have sprayed around the roots. Okay, through this mist or through this mist environment, root will absorb the mist, which is the moisture along with the nutrient, and then the crop will grow, right? So this is aeroponics where roots are hanging in air. Okay, there is no direct contact with neither soil, neither or your solution, right? This is aeroponics. Okay, next we have is aquaponics. Now, students, in aquaponics, what is done basically, we have mixed aquaculture with production of crops. So here in a fish tank, fish are grown, and these fish will excrete ammonia, as fish excreta have some amount of ammonia. So this fish will excrete ammonia in this water, right? So this water will be taken to the plant. Now, a plant will absorb ammonia. Basically, ammonia is the source of nitrogen for the plant, right? So plant will absorb ammonia from this water, and the water is again then drained back to the fish tank after it has been filtered by the plant's root. Okay? So this is how this it is a kind of sustainable system, and yes, it does happen that all ammonia is absorbed by the plant and water get filtered out here, and it is again replaced back into the fish tank, right? So this is the aquaponic system. This is known as aquaponic system, where we are mixing growing of fishes along with the growing of crops. Clear? Chalo. Okay, through this picture also you can understand how this works. Okay. Chalo. Next we have is a plant tissue culture. Tissue culture is basically what? It is growing of or producing a plant from a small tissue. So what is done here? In test tube, we take a growing media. You can see this white is a growing media. Okay. And over this growing media, we place a small plant cell or plant tissue. Okay. It can be a part of stem, leaf, seed, bud, anything can be placed here, and this growing media will support that tissue, and that tissue will develop into new plant. Okay, that tissue will develop into new plant. That is known as plant tissue culture, right? And also, students, it is known as micropropagation. Micropropagation, because we are using a micro part of a plant for propagation, for multiplication, right? So this is your tissue culture. Again, you can see from the picture, this is a plant leaf, which is, cut down into small, small pieces. And then these pieces are placed in the Petri dish, having the growing media. Then this tissue will start growing. Okay, this will start growing and develop into new plants. Clear? Okay. Then we have another research node which is known as precision agriculture. Precision agriculture क्या होता है students? Here we are precisely managing the field. Okay, here we are precisely managing the field. Okay, so in precision agriculture, what is done? We are precisely managing the field. So, basically, like if we have a field, right, and there is some problem in this area, like there is some nutrient deficiency that is there in this area. So, what is a general practice of a farmer? That the farmer will start spraying the fertilizer over the entire field. Okay, irrespective of the fact that it is only required in this particular area, because farmer को क्या लगेगा कि पूरी जगह deficiency होने वाली है, right? So precision agriculture का purpose है that we precisely manage the area where it is where there is a problem, right? So this is done with the help of geoinformatics. What is geoinformatics? Basically, it is okay. Coming to again back to the precision agriculture. So what is done in precision agriculture? The data is collected for the field. Okay, different data will be collected. Okay, soil map is collected, crop map is collected, yield map is collected, and then data is integrated. Okay, then a treatment map is generated for the field, and according to that a treatment is given to the field, right? That is how we precisely manage the field. And this is again done with the help of geoinformatics, which is integrating computer science with the geoscience. So system like GIS, GPS, and remote sensing is used for doing the precision agriculture, right? I hope it's clear. Okay, with this modern farming techniques is complete, then we have crop intensification. It is basically growing more number of crops in a on a same piece of land, in a same piece of land per year is called as uh, crop intensification, and it is calculated by calculating cropping intensity. क्या होती है cropping intensity? It is basically gross cropped area upon net cropped area into 100. ठीक है? तो gross cropped area, net cropped area क्या होता है? We'll understand with the example, right? If a farmer have 8 hectare of land, तो net area कितना हो गया? This is net area, 8 hectare, right? बट खरीफ सीजन में फार्मर ने ओनली चलो फॉर खरीफ सीजन में 8 हेक्टेयर पे ही उन्होंने राइस ग्रो किया. ओके, रबी सीजन में ही यूटिलाइजेस ओनली 5 हेक्टेयर ऑफ लैंड फॉर ग्रोइंग wheat, and in that season he utilizes 3 hectare for growing pulses. ठीक है? Now, for that particular year, gross area will be 8 plus 5 plus 3, which is 16 hectare, right? Net कितना है? 8 hectare. तो क्रॉपिंग इंटेंसिटी कैसे निकलेगी? ग्रॉस एरिया इज इक्वल टू 16 upon 8 into 100. Okay, that is 200%. That is 200%. Just give me a second, students. It's a okay. ठीक है, so this is how we calculate the cropping intensity, gross cropped area upon net cropped area into 100, right? So cropping intensity for this particular field will be 200%. ठीक है, crop intensification क्या है और कैसे इसको calculate करते हैं? I hope it's clear. Okay, now there's one more concept of SRI. SRI is basically student system of rice intensification, right? It is a method of growing rice. ठीक है, it was developed by हेनरी डी लॉलेनी, मेडागास्कर में हुआ था. इसमें क्या होता है कि बेसिकली इसमें जो आपकी ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिस है ग्रोइंग राइस से, उससे थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट प्रैक्टिस यूज होती है. हियर what we do, we just grow one single, usual practice is to grow 2 to 3 seedlings at a place, right? Transplant 2 to 3 seedling at a place. But here, what we do, here we transplant only one seedling at a place. Space is also kept wide, okay? Uh, Intercultural cultivation operations are done. Alternate wetting and drying is done. So it is a bit different practice, and usually it is seen that it has shown more yield as compared to the conventional practice. Also, water saving is more in this SRI. ठीक है? तो SRI के लिए what you need to know, you just need to know the meaning of SRI. ठीक है? What is SRI? It is the system of rise intensification. ठीक है? That is what will be asked to you in examination if asked कि SRI का मतलब क्या है? It is system of rise intensification. Clear? Okay. Next important topic is your dryland agriculture. Students, again a very important topic. आपका इससे descriptive answer writing में question पूछा जा चुका है. So you need to learn it. Okay. So what is dryland agriculture basically, students? It is growing or doing agriculture in area where the agriculture is completely dependent on rainfall. Okay. Where agriculture is completely dependent on rainfall, such agriculture or such cultivation is known as dryland agriculture. Clear? Okay, so dryland agriculture में we have 3 category: dry farming, dryland farming, and rainfed farming. ठीक है? So here, what is the differentiating feature is basically the amount of rainfall received by each region. If any particular area received rainfall less than 750, it's called dry farming. If any area received rainfall between 750 to 1150 mm, it is called dryland farming. Okay. And if any area received rainfall more than 1150, then that is called rain-fed farming. Okay. So based on amount of rainfall received by any area, this classification is done, and it is very, very important, often asked in your examination. Okay. Then student, if I talk about moisture availability, so there is an acute shortage in dry farming क्योंकि यहाँ पे rainfall कम है. Okay, and there is enough moisture in rainfed because there is enough rainfall, right? So subsequently, here crop failure, if you'll see, it is more frequent in dry farming, less in dryland, and it is rare in rainfed farming. Okay. So constraints, if we see in dry farming, there is a constraint of wind erosion क्योंकि यहाँ पे पानी कम है तो obviously water erosion नहीं हो सकता, तो wind erosion will be there. Here, wind and water erosion is a problem. And in case of rainfed, where water is excess, water erosion is the problem, right? So all these are the different types of farming, dryland farming system. Clear? That you have to learn. Very, very important. Okay, what are the problems associated with it? So basically in dryland agriculture, there is inadequate and uneven distribution of rainfall, right? Then there is a late onset and cessation, early cessation of rainfall. Then sometimes there is a prolonged dry spell during the crop period. Okay, that can cause the crop failure. Then there is a low moisture retention capacity in the soil. Okay, then soil fertility is also very low, and the land holding of the farmer is also very small. Okay, so all these are the problems associated with dryland agriculture. Okay, so quickly we will see the PYQs because we have to cover chapter 4 as well. So quickly, students, okay, it will be a rapid fire round. Give me answer. What is slash and burn agriculture? Okay, it is zoom cultivation. Very good. Next question. Which of the following type of agriculture rests on the principle that we must meet the need of present without compromising the ability of future generation? What will be the answer? Okay. Very good. It will be sustainable agriculture. So students, sustainable agriculture क्या होता है कि meeting the demand of present generation but keeping without compromising the demand of future generation. ठीक है? तो हमें रिसोर्सेज को इस तरीके से यूटिलाइज करना है कि हम अपनी डिमांड्स को भी पूरी कर रहे हैं और फ्यूचर जनरेशन की डिमांड को भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. अनदर क्वेश्चन वाज फार्मिंग सिस्टम वेयर नो हर्बिसाइड नो पेस्टिसाइड यूज. तो ये स्टूडेंट, इसका आंसर ऑलरेडी ऑन द स्क्रीन, ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग है. ठीक है. चलो, which of the following is organic in nature? Quickly give me the answer. It is cow dung. Very good. Very good. Which of the following microorganism absorbs nutrient from the surrounding and provide them to the plant? Quickly give me the answer. I have told you about the organisms which help in increasing the nutrients around the plant. Okay, so it will be biofertilizer. Biofertilizer. Very good. Okay. Name the process of increasing input of agriculture resources to increase the level of yield per unit land. Okay, क्या हो सकता है इसका आंसर? Quickly give me the answers. सो आंसर होगा स्टूडेंट्स का एग्रीकल्चर इंटेंसिफिकेशन। तो अगर आप स्टेटमेंट को फिर से पढ़ोगे, इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट इंक्रीजिंग द इनपुट एंड एग्रीकल्चर रिसोर्सेज। ठीक है, तो इट इज एग्रीकल्चर इंटेंसिफिकेशन, हम एग्रीकल्चर को इंटेंसिफाई कर रहे हैं, राइट? चलो, moving to the chapter 4. Okay, again, we have less time and we have to cover this chapter, and very short chapter and very important again, and बहुत ही easy chapter है, nothing very complicated here, right? चलो, क्रॉपिंग सिस्टम क्या होता है? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, सॉरी, क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न क्या होता है बेसिकली स्टूडेंट्स? क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न इज बेसिकली the pattern that you are adopting, or the how you are distributing land for any crop, for various crop, right? So it is basically distribution of the amount of land that is being farmed for various crops throughout time. Okay, so how you are distributing the land for growing various crop is cropping pattern, or in general what pattern you are adopting for growing different crops on your land is cropping pattern. Clear? So students, cropping pattern can be of two different types, monocropping and multiple cropping, right? If you are growing just one crop season after season, or in general year after year, then that is monocropping, right? That is monocropping, which is growing of only one crop. And then if you are growing more than two crops or more than one crops at a time on a piece of land, that is called multiple cropping. It can be season after season, or it can be within one season. But multiple crop means growing more than two crops together is multiple cropping. Okay, and mono is just growing one crop. Okay. Now, students, if I talk about further classification of this cropping pattern, so I have told you about monocropping, right? Monocropping is one crop. And students, see, what is monoculture? Basically, year after year, if you are growing only one crop, that means you are doing monoculture, right? You are doing monoculturing, right? So next, I have told you multiple cropping is growing more than one crop. Now, either you can grow these crop in a sequence, or at a time also you can grow more than one crop, right? So if in a sequence you are growing two crops, that will be called a sequential cropping. Like after rice, you are growing wheat, after wheat, you are growing pulses, right? So you are adopting multiple cropping, but in a sequence. You are not growing at a time, you are not growing more than two crops. So that will be called as sequential cropping, right? Then we have intercropping. Intercropping is basically at a time you are growing multiple crops. Like you have grown rice, you have grown maize, you have grown groundnut, right? So at a time you are growing multiple crop. That is intercropping. So intercropping is again of different type: mixed, strip, row, and relay intercropping. In sequential, we will learn about ratoon cropping. So sequential, I have told you, in a sequence, in a particular sequence when you are growing crop, right? इसमें एग्जाम्पल होता है स्टूडेंट्स रटून क्रॉपिंग का। रटून क्रॉपिंग क्या होती है? बेसिकली व्हाट वी डू इन रटून, लाइक दिस इज योर शुगर केन क्रॉप, राइट? So what you will do, you will not harvest sugarcane from the base. You will leave a part of sugarcane in the field. Okay. So now you have a part of sugarcane in the field, and you will irrigate this field, and you will allow this part of sugarcane to sprout. ठीक है, ये sprout होगा, right? This sugarcane will sprout and it will give you the new sugarcane crop. So you have done ratooning. This type of method is known as ratooning. Okay. It is also called stubble cropping, because from the previous crop stubble, you are growing new crop. It is known as reharvesting, because you have once harvested it and again another crop is harvested from the same planting material. It is also called second crop, because you have got two crop from one planting material. Clear? So this is about ratooning and ratoon cropping. Next we have is intercropping. So intercropping में students, first we have is mixed intercropping. Mixed intercropping क्या होती है? Basically growing two or more crops simultaneously with no distinct row arrangement. You can see in the picture also, anywhere you have scattered the seed. Okay, there is no fixed arrangement. Everything is mixed. All seeds are mixed and grown together. Mixed intercropping. Row intercropping, very easy to understand. In a definite row, you are growing crops. That is row intercropping, right? You have a particular definite row for growing each crop. That is row intercropping. Then we have strip intercropping. So student, in strip intercropping, what we have done, we have modified row intercropping a bit, and rather than going for growing one single row for each crop, we are growing it in a multiple rows. Like this is a crop, like for say you can see in the picture, this is the strip of maize. Here around 10 rows of maize is there. Then strip of soybean, 10 rows of soybean is there. And then 10 rows of oats will be there, right? So forming a complete strip. So this is called a strip intercropping. Clear? Then we have relay intercropping. In relay intercropping, the relay crop I have already told you, growing crop before harvesting the previous crop, right? Relay intercropping is same. So it is basically growing two or more crops simultaneously during the part of life cycle of each. Okay? So both crop share some part of life cycle of each. That is relay intercropping. And especially before harvesting of previous crop, we are growing another crop. That is relay intercropping. Clear? Then another form of intercropping is companion cropping. So students, sometimes what we need to do, we have some long duration crop like sugarcane. You can see there sugarcane is in the field. Right now sugarcane is in the growing stage, and it will take around 16 to 18 months for this sugarcane to come to harvesting, right? So what we need to do, we need to hasten the return from the land. We cannot wait for 16 to 18 months for the sugarcane and for the returns. So what we'll do, farmer will utilize the space between the sugarcane crop when sugarcane is still growing, and grow some short duration crop like onion, potato, soya. Okay, they can be grown in between, and multiple harvest can be done, and we can hasten the return from the land. So this is basically the companion cropping, right? Okay, so students, next we have topic we need to learn is cropping system. तो उससे पहले we need to understand the difference of cropping system and farming system. ठीक है? So cropping system क्या होता है basically student? Cropping system is the cropping pattern that we have adopted plus its interaction with farm resources, right? So whatever cropping pattern we have adopted, how it is interacting with the farm resources or farm is called cropping system. And farming system क्या है basically? It is the basically integrating of all farm enterprises. ठीक है? Be it crop production, fisheries, poultry, piggery, anything. When we have integrated all those, that is farming system, and cropping system is cropping pattern we have adopted along with its interaction with enterprises or the farm technology or the environment and everything that is present on farm. Clear? So that is the difference between cropping system and farming system. I hope it's clear. Okay. Uh, there are different types of cropping system again. Okay, it's not very important topic. ठीक है, just आपको देखो, if our main crop is rice, okay, then that will be called as rice based cropping system. If our main crop is any root crop, which can be radish, carrot, then that will be called as root based cropping system. And if our main crop is grain legume, along with that we are growing other crops, then that will be called as grain legume based cropping system. ठीक है? Rice based, maybe there are different examples where we are using mixed varieties of rice. Okay, intercropping rice with other crop, or you doing the pera otera cultivation, or sequentially growing the rice with other crops, right? So mixed rice based cropping system mein rice is our main crop. You can say rice can be grown with other crop in a sequence, right? So mixed variety में we can grow late sowing variety, late growing variety with the early maturing variety, right? Or we can, grow rice with any other legumes or millets. Pera utera is again same as relay cropping, growing rice with any the crop before the harvesting of rice. ठीक है? Then sequential cropping can be done, right? So students, root based, I have already told you, growing any root crop where cassava, sweet potato is our main crop along with any other crops. Grain legumes mein our main crop is any grain legume, and we are growing this legume with any other crop. And this is very helpful in crop rotation because it help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen. ठीक है? Maize based में again maize will be our main crop. Okay, and maize wheat rank having maximum area mainly concentrated in rain-fed ecologies. So जो rain-fed areas हैं वहाँ पे maize based जो cropping system है that is mostly followed, or maximum area is under maize maize wheat based cropping system. ठीक है? Then we have rice wheat based. So students, India के लिए आपको याद रखना है, in India rice wheat based cropping system is highly adopted. Okay, it is highly adopted in India. That's the important fact to remember from here. ठीक है, sugar cane based means sugar cane is our main crop and along with sugar cane we are growing other crops. Okay, this is important. Next we have is multi-story or multi-level cropping. Multi-story क्या होता है students? When we are utilizing the vertical height of a crop. Okay, vertical height of a crop. You can see different heighted crops are grown together. Okay, and on a same piece of land, we are utilizing the vertical space. ठीक है, तो shade loving plant will be grown at the bottom. Okay, after that some medium sized plant like banana or papaya can be grown and with the, along with the coconut which are tall plants, right? So basically to effectively utilize the vertical height of a crop, different heighted crop are grown together. That is known as multi-storied or multi-level cropping system. ठीक है. Then next we have is a lay farming. Lay farming क्या होती है? Basically students again growing of lay crops for feeding the livestock as well as our intention is to conserve soil and water, right? So that is the lay farming. And what are the advantage of lay farming? So it will improve the nitrogen content because यहाँ पे हम grasses और legumes को grow कर रहे हैं, right? It will help in restoring the soil and soil organic matter. Then it will help in controlling weed. It will prevent drainage and erosion, and it will improve livestock efficiency. Clear? Chalo, that was all about your chapter 4. Now there are few questions. You can solve them. So first question is the order in which crops are cultivated on a piece of land over a fixed period are called is called as. This is a PYQ asked in your 2017 exam. What will be the answer? Okay, very good. Very good answer will be cropping pattern, right? Cropping pattern. ठीक है. Next is the method of harvesting crop which leaves the root and upper lower part of a plant and cut to give the stubble crop is known as. Okay, so answer here will be students. Please carefully read all the options first. Carefully read all the options first and then give me the answer. Very good. It will be E, all of the above, right? Yes. Rotation of crop means, okay, what is the right answer here? Crops are changed from year to year according to plant sequence. Crops grown on stubble, industrial farming, 2 to 3 crops grown on the same piece of land. None of the above. What will be the answer? Very good. It will be option A, right? Next question is which of the following crop is suitable for crop rotation to enrich soil deficiency of nitrogen? Okay, now what will be the answer? I have told you already the example. Okay, it will be alfalfa, right? Next question, what is the cropping pattern of sugarcane with a short span crop such as potato or onion called that can be harvested even before sugarcane reaches maturity? Very good, very good. It will be companion cropping, right? Next is which of the following cropping system is highest in India? Cropping system that is followed highest in India. Very good. It will be rice wheat cropping system. Growing 2 or more crops simultaneously on same field is known as. Very good. It is multiple cropping. ठीक है. In which of the following companion cropping pattern 4 crops can be grown, but 1 crop is cultivated before harvest of the previous crop? Okay. ठीक है. It will be relay intercropping. ठीक है. So students, ये 2024 में क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था. With sufficient irrigation facility present, which kind of the cropping system can be followed? Very good. It will not be relay intercropping. Sorry for the mistake. It will be multiple cropping. Okay, if we have sufficient uh, irrigation facility, we can go for multiple cropping and we can grow multiple crops, right? So that was the last question from the for the today's lecture. And students, I hope I was able to make you understand whatever the important concepts are. Now, as this is a quick revision batch, everything will be very fast paced. But yeah, I have highlighted the important things and I have tried to make you understand the important points. Now, what you need to do at your end is to, start reading summary sheet after this. Just quickly cover summary sheet, okay? Just quickly cover summary sheet and try to practice questions, okay? Try to practice question. So if there is any doubt, any problem, please let me know. All of you, those who are present on YouTube or the Zoom session, Just now quickly cover this chapter from the summary sheet, read everything, practice questions, and then these four chapter will be done for you. Anything else you want to ask regarding today's chapter or regarding anything? Also, students, a request if you have any feedback regarding this QRB session. So I'm just dropping a mail ID. You can just drop your feedback at feedback.edutab.co.in. Okay? So you can send your feedback regarding this QRB session that we have. Okay, sorry, it's wrong. Feedback at edutab. It's okay. So this is the feedback ID. You can just share the feedback. Rest, is there any doubt? Is there any doubt? Please let me know. See, Lakshman, there is no link for the summary sheet. Summary sheet will be provided if you enroll in the course, right? So for the students who are enrolled in the course, they have got the summary sheet. Okay. No, PPT will also not be available on Telegram. Okay. So this was only the free lectures which was available on the YouTube. From tomorrow onward, there will be no lectures on YouTube. Anything else anybody want to ask? All those who are present in Zoom session, please, if you have any doubt, any query, please ask. Okay, so everything was fine for today's batch. Just give me thumbs up. Otherwise, I'll just end the session now. Okay, okay. So, okay, I hope you all have enjoyed. Um, Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being so patient and understanding that at this point in time, we need to pace up thing, right? So yeah, from tomorrow onward, what I'll do, I'll just bring important topics only. Okay. Everything need not to be covered. I'll just bring important topics. I'll try to cover them in bit detail. But again, we have a very vast syllabus to cover. So the pace will be same. Okay. Chalo, that's all for today session. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow. Okay.